violent images on the internet. Revere Copper, new antimicrobial copper, would decrease the spread of COVID-19. So Marianne introduced a bill requiring copper fixtures in all taxpayer-funded projects. Like you, Marianne Buttonshaw shows up for work. She's never missed a session roll call or committee meeting. Like you, Marianne listens. Her office answers 5,000 phone calls and emails a year. Marianne Buttonshaw brings your values and your voice to the State Assembly. That's why the Friends of Marianne Buttonshaw paid for this message.
At River Hills Properties, it's all about a market that is really on fire right now. If you're looking to buy or sell your home, call River Hills Properties and strategize. With interest rates as low as they are right now, it's an amazing time to sell a property. It's also a great time to buy because you have much more buying power with the low interest rates. Call Bill and Robin Monjo today, 315-896-1009. Online, it's riverhillspropertiesllc.com. Remember, nobody sells homes like River Hills Properties.
This election, vote to re-elect Assemblyman Brian Miller. He's one of us.
I'm Brian Miller. As your Assemblyman, I've been advocating for upstate New Yorkers like you.
Brian puts politics aside and works to create better jobs. He fights for farmers, education, and the expansion of broadband, leaving no one behind.
I vote to remove burdens to job growth and small businesses, stand with farmers, and work to bring broadband to our region so our communities aren't left behind.
He's fought to prove new gun mandates unconstitutional. And as we're all forced to tighten our financial belts because of inflation, Brian is demanding Albany do the same.
Crushing costs because of inflation and state policies have made it harder for all of us. We've all been tightening our financial belts, and I've voted for Albany to do the same, while I continue to fight for you.
So this election, re-elect Brian Miller in New York's 122nd Assembly District, because he's one of us. Paid for by Brian Miller for Assembly.
Somebody should tell Kathy Hochul Halloween is over. She's still trying to scare you about Lee Zeldin. The guy's a suburban dad with a wife and 2 teen girls. Enough already. Okay, you might not be thrilled about voting for a Republican. Me neither, and I won't make it a habit, but things have got to change. Under Hochul, you know what's happening with crime. Cashless bail? Come on. It's not just crime. It's the cost of living, just paying bills. Hochul delivers the most expensive state budget in history, then acts like she's doing you a favor by spending it. Besides, with all these people moving out of state, who's gonna get the bill? You. Hochul's already backed higher taxes 11 times. Lee Zeldin is the best hope we have to change things. The way I see it, you can vote for Hope, or you can vote for Hochul.
Paid for by Safe Together New York, Inc. This communication was not expressly authorized or requested by any candidate or by any candidate's political committees or any of its agents.
This year, we, the people of Oneida County, have a choice. We can bow down to the political establishment, or we can stand up on our own 2 feet. I'm Marima Smagic Oren. The race for Oneida County Clerk is more than just another election. It's a fight to decide who runs this county, the people or the politicians. Mary Finnegan's made her choice. She's the establishment's candidate, taking orders from the establishment's bosses. The difference between Mary Finnegan and me? She's running because she'll do what Tony Picenti tells her to do. I'm running because I know what to do. I'm an attorney and a real estate professional who works with the county clerk's office day in and day out. I'm a lawyer who knows the clerk is indispensable to New York State Supreme Court. My opponent files dog licenses and hands out parking permits. I deal with deeds, mortgages, and Supreme Court judges. I'm Marima Smagic Oren. I put people over politics. Paid for by the Friends of Marima Smagic Oren.
It's time to start the program. It's time to earn our pay. It's time to meet the people on the Keeler Show today. It's time to read the news and weather. Time to figure out what to say. It's time to turn the channel of the Keeler Show today. Why do we always listen? Keeler's always in the know. It makes me want to call him and tell him where to go. And now let's get things started. Andrew, let's get things started. It's time to get things started.
On the most sensational, inspirational, celebrational, Keelerational. This is what we call the Keeler Show.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
All right, I want to announce, I can't even believe I came in today, but I did. I won $2 last night in the big Powerball. I don't even think I did that, to be honest with you. I don't even think I did that. Can you imagine there's not a winning ticket? I'm working on an interesting story. Do you know there is a way that you can play the lottery and guarantee a win? I want you to hear me what I'm saying. By the way, there was no winner last night. The jackpot goes to $1.5 billion. $1.5 billion, most likely, depending on the number of tickets that are sold, we will break a world record for a lottery jackpot, which is currently like $1.578 billion. So I would expect that it'll grow over the next few days. Saturday night is the big drawing. So go ahead, ask me the question, because I can repeat it. Go ahead.
How do you guarantee yourself a win?
Oh, did you say we could get... You're right, we can. You can guarantee a victory. What you have to do, stay with me, is you have to buy all... now, first of all, in order to do this, you're going to have some bank. Okay?
Yeah.
Just for the record. You will have to purchase all of the potential combinations. Hear me out. You got to purchase all of the potential combinations. If money is no object, you can purchase all of the potential combinations. And if you do that, you will guarantee you'd be a winner.
Yeah, but you'd spend an astronomical amount of money.
I want you to get your calculator out for me.
Okay.
You would. That's just why I said you have to have the bank. You got to have bank. You have to have enough money. So let's just say we were going off yesterday's numbers, okay? The jackpot yesterday was, last night was $1.2 billion. $1.2 billion. The lottery is, the Powerball is $2 per ticket. There are 292,201,338,000 combinations. Not bad, right? So at $2 a ticket, that means you would have to spend $584 million, almost $585 million in order to cover all of the combinations.
I'm trying to think after
so
taxes
think about this.
what you would get.
So let's say you want to cover, you just do the math. Do 293 million.
I can't do a million on my computer.
Oh, you can't.
That thing.
It won't do it on your phone?
How many zeros?
So do 293,000,000. It should do it on your phone.
No.
Oh, it won't. All right. Well, I've got the math here. 293 million. Basically, it would mean that it'd be $584,402,676 million in order to, and now that's at $2 a ticket. So taking all the combinations at $2 a ticket, you spend about $585 million. But the jackpot is $1.2 billion. So looks like you could win, right? But here's the problem.
Yeah.
They're saying estimated for last night's drawing, I believe the payout, the lump sum payout, is about 200. What is it? Lump sum is estimated to pay out $596 million. So you've only spent $585 million. The lump payout would be $596. You'd make millions. About $11 million you'd make. But the problem is, here's your risk. So that's a lot of money to make. You're spending a lot of millions to make $11 million.
Yeah.
And with the risk that someone else could also have the winning ticket. And if
That's true, too.
That were to happen,
Oh.
right? Now
Oh.
you're cut in half. Now you're losing millions. So, and what if there were 3 winners? It would be even worse. So it's clearly, after taxes, taking the lump sum payout. You're risking an awful lot. You would not take all your money and buy, which is why nobody does it. Is it possible you could walk away on the plus side? It is,
I can't
but
believe.
not by much.
I can't believe all those different number combinations only adds up to $292 million.
Think about that. Well, think about. I mean, it's hard to conceive what $292 million is, and then when you're talking about just it's worth for your kids or grandkids or whatever. It's worth writing down what the jackpot is. It's worth writing down $1.5 billion with all the zeros, just to give them, and then show them where $1 million fits in there, and you realize, wow, $1 million is a lot of money. But once you get to $1 billion, that's a lot of money. So somebody's going to win that, or at least a portion of it. Now, in terms of the odds, you are 292,201,338 to 1. Those are your odds at winning the lottery. Now,
The odds one more time? I'm sorry.
well, it's basically about 293 million to 1. Now, I can't win the Comets 50-50. Okay.
Yeah.
The odds there are what?
Yeah.
1 in 3,000,
Yeah.
1 in 4,000, whatever. I can't win that one.
I mean, that's an interesting story because all the Comets games you've been to.
Of all the games I've been to, and I always buy a ticket.
Yeah.
More than one ticket. And I have never won. Now, I sat next to, in the inaugural season, I sat next to 2 ladies who won twice that year, and the next year they won again.
Ooh,
They'd
you
won
gotta be lucky.
three times. And you know what they did? Oh, we spend $5 every time. And I'm like, I spend $20. How are you doing this? This isn't fair. But that's the way it works.
That is.
And you hear stories of people who've won the lottery, $1 million plus, more than one time.
So I was just wondering how many years it would take. I was trying to figure out how many home games you've probably been to. But if the odds are 1 in 3,000 or 1 in 3,500, yeah, it would take.
It's just crazy.
It would take a very long time.
But a $1.5 billion is where it is. I mean, you almost feel like you just have to do it, even though you know there's no chance you're going to. There is a chance, but there's no chance that you're going to win. You just feel like, well, I'm going to throw something at it because you just don't know. Somebody had to buy it. Somebody had to go to the Parkway Drugs and purchase a ticket to win the $2 million right here in the drawing a couple of days ago. Somebody had to do it. $1.5 billion with a B dollars. Craziness. Okay, what else do we have to get to? Last night, the World Series, I really felt like Houston was going to bounce back, but I did not expect them to bounce back with a no-hitter. Philadelphia went from scoring 7 runs the night before to not being able to put a batter on the baseline.
It was outrageous. They did get, I know there was a walk, I think, in the 9th inning. I cannot believe that the kid comes out of the game.
So he's got a no-hitter, and there you go with your analytics. We've given him so many pitches, and he has a no-hitter. Sorry, we're pulling you.
I mean, that's...
Wouldn't you just keep it going until he walks somebody?
Right.
Or till he starts to look, nope, we're going to need him later on in the week. Very good chance we might have to have him pitch again. We can't have him pitching too many pitches. We have a number, and we're following it. We have analytics, and we're following it. That's baseball today.
I mean, consider also, though, I understand that it was a combined no-hitter, and ultimately it worked out. It's possible, though, that, you give up a double and a walk and then a home run, and all of a sudden, you got a 5-3 game in the eighth inning, and your best
Correct.
Correct. So, look, it didn't work out that way. On the brink of history, something that some of the greatest pitchers of this game have never even come close to doing.
I'm going to tell you something. We've seen them pulling pitchers during the regular season when they're throwing a no-hitter. During the regular season. I mean, not letting them go in July. Come on, it's one game out of how many?
But part of my argument, too, is this is the postseason.
Right.
What are you saving him for? It's not like July. Well, if we keep doing this, he might not be ready to pitch in September.
You're saving him in case you had to bring him back in a Game 7 where, all of a sudden your pitching staff is falling to pieces and, you pitch somebody on a couple days rest.
Do you think if this was like Game 6 or 7, in other words, there's not another chance that he would be starting a game for months? Do you think they would have left him in?
I don't think there's a chance that he's going to. He probably won't start another game, but he may end up in. Right.
I guess that he wouldn't pitch.
I
was
wonder
Game
if
6 or Game 7 of the World Series.
I wonder if
he's not going to pitch again.
If this was Game 6 or 7, I wonder. I don't know. I think that we've actually based on our analytics, we know he can only go this many pitches. After that, he begins to wane, and sorry, we had to pull him.
By the way,
it's crazy. By the way, if you can I play it first?
Oh yeah.
If you weren't up past 11 to see the game, the Phillies blanked the Astros Tuesday night. It was Houston's turn last night as they won Game 4 of the World Series, 5-0. But they also made baseball history. Here is the call.
Bouncing ball to third, picked by Bregman, throw across in time. The Astros have a World Series no-hitter. The second one in World Series history. Don Larson in 1956. Joined by Christian Javier, Brian Abreu, Rafael Montero, and Ryan Presley. A 5-0 win in Game 4 in no-hit fashion to tie this series at 2 games apiece.
It's crazy.
And nothing else do we look at it that way. I understand it's a combined no-hitter. It's unique. It's very impressive. But he says Don Larson is now joined in history by, and he rattles off 4 pitchers' names. Have we ever said Babe Ruth hit 60 home runs in 19 whatever? And joining him in history is Pete Alonso, Francisco Lindor, and I don't know, name another player, because they combined to hit 60 home runs this year. What? It's completely different. And it just underscores how impressive what Don Larson did.
That game is now
unique.
That game is now tied 2-2, and one would say 2-2 with the advantage in Houston's favor. Right?
Yeah, sure, home field, sir.
Because they'll after tonight's game, they'll head back to Houston. So in the very worst situation, they go back home. They would go back home down 3-2. So
odd coincidence here. Thursday Night Football tonight. We'll have it here on WIBX. Our coverage begins at 7:30. You know who it is?
I believe the Houston Texans are playing tonight against the undefeated Philadelphia Eagles. Isn't that interesting?
Philly.
Wow. Today is National Sandwich Day. National Sandwich Day, or as they say over on Bleecker Street, National Sandwich Day. If you're keeping track.
Yes.
National Sandwich Day. Do you have a favorite sandwich? Is there a favorite there for you?
I love sandwiches. Anything really. I mean, there's some I won't eat, but yeah, if any kind of a cold cut on there. I would do the egg salad, chicken salad. Yeah, there's not too many sandwiches you can give me.
I do hate the day, and because I'm trying to be on a failing keto diet, one of the things you can't have is a sandwich.
Yeah.
You can wrap it in lettuce. That's good. But when you're thinking about a sandwich, you're thinking about step one is what kind of bread am I going to use for this sandwich? And the bread plays such a role in the sandwich. And it's the one thing that if you're trying to go low carb, you don't eat. And when you do go with one of these diets, the reason they say that the low carb diet doesn't work is because you're constantly denying the things that you love. like bread. And the more you deny yourself of bread, the more you crave the bread. And there you go. Today's National Sandwich Day. So what is yours?
Oh, boy.
Is it a cold cut sandwich? Is it one of those sub sandwiches or a torpedo, whatever you call it?
Now, would you consider like what you get at McDonald's a sandwich?
I think a burger probably could be called a sandwich, but there's a chicken sandwich. So if it's called a chicken sandwich, then I guess a burger is really a beef patty sandwich, but we don't call it that. But everything from the simple peanut butter and jelly to one of my favorites is this time of year, or really more in August, is the fresh tomato sliced with a with mayonnaise, real mayonnaise, not that miracle stuff, salt and pepper with American cheese. So fresh tomatoes, American cheese, mayonnaise, salt and pepper. I could eat that all day long. Love it.
A Reuben or a Rachel. That's one of my
great
favorites.
Sandwiches. The grilled sandwiches that you could have. There's so much. I am craving it all right now.
Same here.
We have a ton to get to. I'll get into that coming up in a second. A lot today. We have a very busy morning. High school volleyball player out of Colorado who is partially paralyzed from a car crash had a big week when she became homecoming queen and served the ball over the net with the help of a parent. Just awful that a kid at that age has to even go through something like this. But what a big day it was. Here's Zoe Rollins talking about how she became injured and her amazing progress, the progress she's made since the crash.
We went around a turn a little too fast, and then we went off the left side of the road and rolled down a hill 7 times. I broke 5 vertebrae in my back, and then my L1 shattered, which gave me a spinal cord injury, so I was paralyzed from the waist down. Ever since, last October, I've been working on standing up and trying to get a serve over. I finally got it over, and it felt really good because I had been working up for it for a year, and I was like, I didn't put all this work in just to give up.
Well, good for her.
Inspirational.
No doubt about it. 16-year-old in New Orleans was robbed at gunpoint and put in the freezer while working at McDonald's. You ever been in one of those walk-in freezers? They can be cold if you're locked in there. It can be pretty scary. On top of that, when she called 911, her mom was the dispatcher.
Get out of here.
Yeah, isn't that nuts? Her mom answered the call. Here's the call, and it's actually, of course, recorded and then released. Then comments from Tania Hill and her mother, Terry Clark. Here we go.
Mama, please hurry up. She got a gun.
We're gonna hurry. Give me a description.
She got a mask on. She got somebody outside. And she got us in the freezer. Mama, please.
You in the freezer?
Yes, she has us in the freezer.
I was very worried because I didn't want my mama to have to bury her youngest child. Knowing that I could have lost my life, but she saved my life, I was very happy.
She said McDonald's, so I'm saying, what is your location at McDonald's? It's me, Tania, on Claiborne. Mama, help. Where it broke me down was when my child said, we're in the freezer.
Wow, right?
Yeah, that's
Can you imagine getting that call from your daughter? And I mean, that girl, the young girl, the daughter, did a pretty decent job of describing. It's like, Mama, I'm in the freezer.
Yeah, I think I would lose my cool if I was the 911 dispatcher. You have to maintain a composure.
I think I'd leave. I'd be, okay, sorry, I'll be right there.
I dispatched myself to the crime scene.
She handled herself well. And this is a story of all stories. An Ohio Police Department is in hot water after dressing up their horses as ghosts. Now, just picture this for a moment.
Okay.
Many people in the community accuse them of dressing the horses up to look like traditional KKK robes. Here are the members of the community voicing their concern, and then the Lake County Sheriff, Frank Leon Bruno, apologizing for what it looked like.
A sheriff's office, that's supposed to be out there protecting people, and if I saw that on my street, I would be terrified.
That was in very poor execution for a ghost. If you go back and look at pictures of the Ku Klux Klan, it's like the exact replica of what the horses look like.
I'm sorry that perception was there. It was never our intention to do that. Certainly the lights decorating it, I certainly didn't see any Klan members decorated for Halloween.
Well, I mean, it's difficult, right? I mean, they didn't intend it to look that way. It's like, oh, we got a great idea. Wasn't there somebody that was like, I don't know, kind of looks maybe we shouldn't do this. We'll be fine. Nobody's going to think that.
I guess I'm an idiot. I didn't. They used to dress the horses up
First
too.
of all, what I get it. You're trying to work with the community and that sort of thing. I just probably would avoid the dressing up altogether for the police force. But then again, I'm not a dresser upper. I'm not big into getting dressed up. The most I ever dress up when I go out, you would think I would, because if you dress up and you go all out, no one knows who you are. But
Yeah.
I'd be better off like that. But I don't know. I've never been into it. The most I've ever done is I play like John Belushi or something, the Blues Brothers.
Yeah,
I've done that. Okay. Yeah. What are you doing? But it is what it is. Mike this morning says, you mentioned today is National Sandwich Day, and you said bread plays such a role. Did you mean that to be a play on words?
Yes, he did.
A roll or a R-O-L-E or a R-O-L-L? Which is it? Well, you'll never know. Did I do that intentionally or just slide into that little play on words? I will say we are loaded up. And by the way, if you have enough bread, you can play the lottery this weekend and buy more than one or two combinations. Gotta love the English language, right? We have a blazing fast morning to get to. I have a ton going on. You know, if you're in Madison County, I hope you're voting for Rhonda Youngs. Rhonda Youngs is the write-in campaign that is going on because you know that assistant DA ended up getting into some trouble. There was the alleged overdose, the alleged fentanyl, et cetera, et cetera. He's left the DA's office, but he's still on the ballot. The only one on the ballot for that judge position, which is a three-hatter, they call it. So you handle 3 different courts by being that judge in Madison County. So it's a big role, including criminal. So how do you handle the criminal case that involves drugs when they come into your courtroom if you're in the middle of a criminal case involving drugs, right? I mean, people of Madison County, take the time, please, to write in Rhonda Youngs as your next Madison County judge. She'll be on the air with us coming up this morning. Utica,
just one thing. I don't think he's facing any criminal charges.
I don't know, but it was enough where I guess in this state, if you are a victim of a drug situation, the law is that you would not be arrested, nor would the person who made the phone call to police. That started with the daughter of Bon Jovi when that happened over at Hamilton College. Remember, there was initially an arrest made, and then it was learned that the law had been changed, which I think makes a lot of sense.
Right.
Either way, you're in the middle of this.
Yeah.
And in the middle of this controversy, and you step down from the DA's office because of it. How do you handle a case that comes into your courtroom? Right. How do you handle that? GOP Chairman Mike Gentile is on this morning, and we're going to talk about this back and forth with Councilwoman Aiello over the Complete Street layout. Had a chance to see it after the Stanley show the other night, the Broadway Utica show, Tootsie the other night. There was traffic, and I will say this, the traffic wasn't that heavy. By the time the show let out, by the time we left, many of the people had already left. So traffic wasn't that congested after the show the other night, and there was still a line that went all the way down to Oriskany Boulevard.
Well, it'd be interesting to see.
Yeah.
And again, the city
are lit up over this thing.
Yeah, and the city is taking feedback, and so is the Keeler show. So we'd love to hear from you if you have a thought, opinion,
what's your take?
pro, con,
have you
whatever.
been over there? We've heard from both sides. I think we've heard from people who say, "What's the big deal? It's going to be fine. Don't get all crazy about it." We've heard from others that are just like, "Why are we even doing this?" There are so many other things that could be corrected in the city. Why would you make this adjustment? Why is this such a big deal? It's like we get so easily lost in the weeds. Maybe instead of doing complete streets, I'm just throwing this out there, maybe it would be an idea to look over to, I don't know, West Utica, where things are falling to pieces. West Utica is in pretty rough shape. A lot of attention needs to be paid to West Utica. maybe instead of a complete street, we could try to put together a complete neighborhood in West Utica. To me, there are priorities, and some things would be better just left alone. I guess that's where I'm at on this.
One of the criticisms that I've heard as feedback that I think is spot on, regardless of what you think of the layout, is if we were going to do I don't want to say an experiment, a trial run with the bike lanes, shouldn't we do that in the spring entering the summer instead of the fall heading into winter?
Another comment that I had here this morning was, why are we doing this now? Why don't we wait until the hospital and Nexus and everything is open? All of these new facilities that are going downtown, that they're all open. Wouldn't it be better to do it then? And, I guess we brought that up to KDILO, and now is as good a time as any, I guess, to do the test. But we'll speak with Gentile about it coming up.
Cynically, I almost wonder if is there because it's been talked about in the city for a decade. Cynically, I wonder, is there some funding stream that might dry up if we don't do this now?
Boy, wouldn't that be? That would make sense, right? It would allow this whole thing to make sense. Oh, I get it. If we don't do it, if we wait till after December 31st, we lose the funding. But I don't know that that's the case.
Yeah, I don't know that. But cynically, I'm like, why else?
In fact, I've heard that when I said that that the lines were not done up near the Stanley Theater, they're not. It's still the same lane. The arrows begin to merge into one lane up near the Stanley, but the Stanley is really not affected by it right now. However, they say it is going to go up all the way to Cottage, that the city is waiting on a grinder that they are purchasing. They're going to bring in the grinder, and then they'll finish the lining of the streets. So that's what we're hearing. Well, I wonder what Gentile has to say about that. Judy Hauk from the Good News Center is in this morning. If you're driving over near the Parkway, the flags are going up. Flags for heroes going up as we're just a week away from Veterans Day. I wanted to mention all of that. I got a ton to get to. There's a lot of stuff to get to as we'll move on through the morning here. Early voting is underway. You can vote right up until Sunday. Then Monday you won't be able to vote, but Tuesday is Election Day. And again, we'll have Rhonda Youngs coming up in studio. Dr. Shemaluski from the Falcon Clinic. The best kept secret is orthopedic medicine. And we'll talk with Doc coming up in a few minutes about that and how it could affect you and how it could change your life. We did hear from one person, and we'll talk to Dr. Shemaluski about it, who says she was going to have to sell her business because it involves manual labor. Was going to have to sell her business because of the pain she was in until she went to the Falcon Clinic. And she says that Dr. Shemaluski and the Falcon Clinic changed her life. And we'll speak with the doc about that coming up in a few minutes. 6:45, bright and early here on a Thursday morning on WIBX.
In Albany, the only political party that matters is the majority party.
I'm Assemblywoman Mary Ann Buttonshaw, and I'm a member of the Assembly's majority. As a member of the Assembly, I do more for the Mohawk Valley. More funding for Utica, Rome, and Whitesboro schools than ever before. Almost $500,000 for local fire departments. $125,000 for the town of Deerfield. More funding from Albany means a stronger Mohawk Valley. Wolfspeed means good jobs. The Nexus Center means more recreation and tourism opportunities. Griffith's Business and Technology Park assures our future in high-tech economy. As a member of the Assembly, I brought your voice and your values to the state capitol and brought back expanded youth and senior program funding for our cities and towns and $1 million to assist our youth in crisis at the House of Good Shepherd. Given the chance, I'll do more. That's why the Friends of Mary Ann Buttonshaw paid for this message.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Earn more for every dollar saved. Let AmeriQ connect you with a new 18-month share certificate at 3.05% APY. Save more with your credit union. Get started at ameriq.org/save today. APYs are current as of October 17th and are subject to change without notice. Minimum balance to open is $1,000. Fees may reduce earnings. Withdrawals of principal are subject to early penalties. Insured by NCUA. AmeriQ and you. Let's connect.
Julie Grow Denton, longtime practicing attorney and law clerk in federal, state supreme, and county surrogate court. Julie Grow Denton, high school valedictorian, honors graduate from Bucknell and Harvard Law. Julie Grow Denton, candidate for state Supreme Court.
I'm Julie Grow Denton. Every community deserves to have judges in whom you take great pride. From an early age, my parents instilled a love of family and a strong work ethic. Born and raised near my dad's family in Rome, vacations and holidays with my mom's family in the North Country. My career has brought me to courtrooms and law offices across our region, all while raising 2 children with my husband, driving them throughout Central New York for scholastics and sports. I know our communities. I value the importance of treating others with respect. I love the law, and I will make you proud. I ask for your vote.
Elect Julie Grow Denton to state Supreme Court. Paid for by the committee to elect Julie Grow Denton for Supreme Court.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
All right, it's 6:48, and here we go for a Thursday morning into November. Christmas music has already started. I can't even. Doc Shimoleski is in here. Do you want to introduce the gentleman sitting next to you right there?
Yes, I would. This is Dr. Brian Zielinski, and he has joined the Falcon Clinic over in Washington Mills, and I'm very proud to have him here with us today.
Well, very happy to be here.
All right. So first of all, talk about some of the things that are going on at the Falcon Clinic right now. And I started by talking about if people are in pain. There's this person I know that you and I have talked about, a friend of mine who was going to have to close up her business because of the pain that she was in. Yeah. But using the osteopathic approach, which you do at the Falcon Clinic, it changed her life. She's happy. She's working today, and she's able to manage her pain.
Well, I think one of the things is that the perspective in the osteopathic approach to everything is a little different than the traditional thing. In fact, I had a patient a couple of days ago. She said, she called me Dr. Electronic Circuit Board.
Okay.
Because, we've had, on this show here, we've talked about like having slideshows which you put up on your website on there, explaining that osteopathic medicine is more than just putting hands on and stuff. It's first of all a philosophy, but what it does is it incorporates the anatomy and physiology, looking at really, when you say the whole person, you're looking at the electrical circuitry, just like in your house, you have your wires and all that stuff. And then looking at the circulatory system and everything and putting that all together. It's a different perspective than just looking at, let's say, for example, somebody's shoulder. All right, you're not just looking at a shoulder. You're looking at a shoulder in a person who has certain activities, and then after that, their emotional thing, any problems they have in personal life or their business, and then also the anatomical stuff, which doesn't include just the muscles, the circulation, and then the electrical circuit board, the nerves.
Would you say that you are a physician, and both of you would be a physician that would consider an alternative to just throwing medicine, especially pain meds at a problem? There are other things that can be done, and now really more than ever with the opioid crisis and the fact that it's more difficult to prescribe these medicines. Not that you're anti-medicine, but that there are things that can be done that may be able to alleviate the pain without just throwing medicine to cover up the problem.
Yeah, and it's interesting you use the word alternative, and Dr. Zielinski and I have talked about that. I think I would throw that over to him. We just had that discussion about that alternative versus mainstream.
Sure. So I agree with everything that Dr. Shimoleski said earlier. I think that was very well said. I don't have too much to add to that at this time. But one of the beautiful things about being an osteopathic physician is we are full physicians at the end of the day. We can prescribe if we feel that it's merited. We can send patients to other doctors if we feel we're not the guy or gal for them for whatever problem they're experiencing. We can order x-rays, we could order MRIs, so on and so forth. But in addition to that, we also have the gift of osteopathic manipulation, which, we can perform on our patients, like Dr. Shimoleski was talking about, too. And we think that should really be the starting point. Oftentimes we get patients who come to us after they've been on pain meds for a number of years, after they've had surgery. And, why not, if possible, flip that system on its head where we start with, kind of the least invasive approach. We're not ramming a pill down your throat.
Wouldn't it be better? Wouldn't it be better to start a treatment that is osteopathic, some sort of a treatment before the medicine? Because once you get to that point where you've relied on the medicine and now you can't get it anymore, it's almost like you're doing it in reverse at this point.
Well, if I can interject there, I've joked over the years, and not such a joke, that a lot of times I'm doctor number 8. Right. And sometimes it has to be that way.
The last resort.
Last resort, yeah. But people, they see their primary, which is perfect, and then they'll go through different specialists and so forth and all that. And if those things don't work, then they come to us on there. So I'm doctor number 8. But sometimes once you've seen your primary, or you really don't need a referral to see us, we can take a look as well and see, is it something that we can handle or in addition?
And if I could very quickly revisit your previous point. So the moral of the story is we're not alternative. We are mainstream medicine. We can prescribe, we can refer, we can order tests. But in addition to that, we have this other tool that, going back to the first case that you led off with this morning, Dr. Shimoleski, and you as well, there really are some remarkable success stories. We're not looking to replace anybody. We're looking to be part of the team.
She had, I'll tell you, she had used everything. She'd been everywhere. And so you were, I think in this case, you were doctor number 8 for her. But she had tried everything. And it just got to that point where the medicine, because the medicine feels so good in the beginning, and then the next time you take it, it isn't quite as good, and so on and so on. It gets to the point where the medicine safely prescribed wasn't taking care of the pain. But you were able to pull it off.
Well, medicines they don't cure things. They put you in a position where you heal yourself. I've been a patient of Dr. Zielinski's, and he's treated me many times. That's why.
I've been a patient of his.
Right. I had a problem for about 4 months in my foot. I had I don't remember the injury. Oh, I had a little bit of a sprain. It just kept getting worse. I was hobbling. And I did an x-ray looking for a stress fracture. There's nothing there. I restrained it again. And then I had Dr. Zielinski work on it. The first time, it was like an 80% improvement, and then the few days later, about a week later, he again did things on my foot there, using the anatomy and so forth there, and it's been, I think well over a month now. I have absolutely no pain at all, nothing.
Yeah. It's incredible. It's almost as if you're using physical therapy as a tool in treating. I mean, can you talk about that a little?
You want me to take that one?
Sure.
So some of the techniques that we use do overlap some with physical therapy, and I think that physical therapy is a wonderful profession. I don't know if you've told him a little bit about my background, but I am family medicine trained, and then I also did an extra year of fellowship training just in osteopathic manipulation.
Okay. I was going to ask about that for anybody that has a child or a grandchild that's thinking about med school. It is about 40 to 50% of med school students, I think, go follow through into some form of osteopathy. I believe that number is right.
Yeah, and we can certainly talk about that later as well. But where I'm going with this is when I was at Michigan State, I certainly, did the osteopathic manipulation piece to the best of my ability. But we often had physical therapy on the team as well, because they were hitting the patient in slightly different ways than we were. Not physically, of course, but figuratively. Addressing areas or addressing tissues that we weren't quite, getting the mark with our approach. Not that we weren't trying our best or they weren't trying their best. I'm sure that we were. But all of these people can be a part of the team when it comes to managing chronic pain and other conditions as well. And one of the other things that I was talking to Dr. Shimoleski about the other night is we do realize that for the patients that are seeing us plus a chiropractor or us plus a PT, in addition to their primary, in addition to other specialists. There might come a point where, maybe somebody has to fall off the wagon because it's a lot of time, it's a lot of money to make all these appointments. And if I'm the guy that falls off the wagon, I'm never offended by that. The patient needs to make their decision in terms of who's helping me the most.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah. But all great professions.
Anything else you want to add? How do people reach out? You said for referral is not needed, etc.
Yeah, well, it's the Falcon Clinic for Health, Wellness, and Recovery. It's a primary medical facility, so we see everything from migraines to rashes, irritable bowel to people for their primary care, you know, and so forth. And of course, Brian is family practice trained, and he is also an osteopathic physician specialist. So he has a lot of the same skill sets that I've had over 45 years of practice, but of course he's the next generation coming up.
Right.
And so he has some of the latest and the greatest stuff there, so we collaborate with each other. But we are accepting primary care for people. And you had talked a little bit about pediatrics there.
I was going to ask, osteopathy and pediatrics.
You've had some really good interface with
I have, actually. So unfortunately, at this time, the Falcon Clinic is not taking primary care pediatric patients. That might be something that we're looking to do in the future. Unfortunately, at this time, we just don't have the vaccines and the infrastructure to see kids for primary care. But we frequently see kids in the Falcon Clinic for osteopathic care. And I had an extensive experience with pediatrics on the osteopathy side of things at Michigan State. So some conditions that we treat children with using osteopathic manipulation are... I
have about a minute. Go ahead.
So shortly after birth, feeding difficulties, if cranial nerves are compressed during the delivery process, ear infection, sinus stuff, asthma, and obviously their musculoskeletal sports injuries.
There's always that kid that you know has a problem because constantly got ear infections and was given antibiotics over and over and over and over again. It can cause a real problem.
And at some point, you have to think: is there something anatomical,
something else going on?
Behavioral-wise there.
The website and phone number for the Falcon Clinic.
Yeah, the phone number is area code 315. It's 507-4751. And the website is the Falcon Clinic, falconclinic.com, and presently we're redoing that.
Okay, all right. Dr. Zielinski, thank you.
Thank you.
Nice meeting you. Falcon Clinic.
Well.
Great seeing you, Dr. Dr. Shimoleski. Got a break now. News straight ahead, WIBX Utica, Rome. It's 7 o'clock.
We can't take democracy for granted any longer. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News. That's President Biden's message in a speech condemning political violence, threats, and lies about legitimate election results.
Instead of waiting until an election is over, they're starting well before it. They're starting now. They've emboldened violence and intimidation of voters and election officials.
House Republican leader Kevin McCarthy tells Fox the president's dividing the nation instead of uniting it at a time when we need to unite. Former President Trump is suing New York Attorney General Letitia James for suing him.
The lawsuit accuses her of abusing her position to wage a war of intimidation and harassment, claiming James broke Florida and New York law investigating his business dealings. He also claims the probes are politically motivated. James' lawsuit against Trump and 3 adult children claims he and the Trump Organization fraudulently inflated the value of his assets to obtain favorable loans and tax benefits. Gary Baumgarten, Fox News.
More missiles are test fired by North Korea.
North Korea's fired off at least 3 rockets, prompting the Japanese government to issue what's called a J-alert missile launch warning, heard here on NHK TV. People were given orders to evacuate, but Japan later revised that, saying no missiles flew over its territories.
Fox's Jill Nato. The Houston Astros tie the World Series at 2 games apiece, beating the Phillies 5-0 with a no-hitter.
Starter Christian Javier threw 6 no-hit innings for Houston. Brian Abreu, Rafael Montero, and Ryan Presley each throwing 1 hitless inning in relief. The only other no-hitter in World Series history was Yankee Don Larson's perfect game against the Dodgers in 1956.
Fox's Eric Messersmith. The Astros scored all 5 of their runs in the 5th inning. Game 5 is tonight in Philadelphia. America's listening to Fox News.
Hi, I'm Lisa Booth for Bishop Gold Group. Federal Reserve recent announcements is putting the country on course for a deep recession. That means wild swings in the markets and high inflation will continue to put your retirement savings at risk. Protect the money you worked so hard to save for retirement by investing in gold. Let Bishop Gold Group show you how tangible gold investments can help secure your future. Dial pound 250 from a mobile phone and say the keyword Bishop Gold or visit bishopgoldgroup.com.
And now a small business setback is assessed by a beloved family pediatrician.
Oh, hey, Tiger. Big scary tree branch give your work truck a boo-boo? Yeah. Wow. See this thing on my phone here? It's the Progressive mobile app. Just push that little button there and report your claim. Attaboy.
When owning a small business gets painful, Progressive Commercial is here to make it all better. Get a quote in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com.
What's this? Candy drawer? Who wants a lollipop?
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Covered subject to policy terms and conditions. Total claims not available in all states or situations.
Good morning. We have mostly clear skies and 48 degrees. WIBX News Time is 7:03. This news update is brought to you by Clinton Tractor, the leader in service. Visit them today at clintontractor.net. After more than 60 years of service as a Utica-based construction company, Gaetano Construction has been acquired by Rochester-based Pike Construction Company. The announcement comes just weeks after Charles Gaetano, the company's founder, passed away at the age of 99. Gaetano Construction was founded in 1960 by Charles. He was born in 1923 and a graduate of Proctor High School. More on this story at WIBX950.com. Charges being filed in the death of an inmate from the Central New York Psychiatric Center in Marcy, who died after being punched in the head by another inmate. That is according to New York State Police, who say the fight stemmed from a dispute over a salt shaker. Troopers say inmate Terrence Blackman allegedly punched fellow inmate Anthony Diaz in the head after that disagreement at the psych center. Diaz was hospitalized from the blow and ultimately died from the injury. Blackman was recently indicted on a charge of criminally negligent homicide. New York's economy is getting a shot in the arm thanks to an announcement from Edwards Vacuum. The company is planning to build a new dry pump manufacturing site in Genesee County. The more than $300 million facility would be located in the Western New York Science and Technology Advanced Manufacturing Park. Once construction is completed, it's expected the facility would create hundreds of jobs. The two candidates hoping to represent the 22nd Congressional District met for a debate last night. Democrat Francis Knoll and Republican Brandon Williams discussed several key issues, including the economy, inflation, and health care, and Micron Technology's plan to build a new facility in the Clay area. Polls show the race very close. The 22nd District covers all of Madison, Onondaga, and Oneida counties and a small portion of Oswego County. Rochester police say 2 students were detained after they allegedly brought a loaded weapon into a charter school. The 13-year-old boy and 14-year-old girl were found with the gun at the Academy of Health Sciences Charter School. The investigation continues on how the students got the weapon into the school and where they got it from. The school principal says there is no indication that the teens were planning to use the gun to hurt any students or staff. And Fly Creek Cider Mill and Orchard has been ranked as the best of the best list by American Business Association. The historic mill will be featured in their November-December issue of the ABA magazine called Destinations. WIBX News Time is 7:05. Your Weather Center forecast is brought to you by Cliff's Local Market. They keep you going. Bill, how about this forecast? It's really incredible.
Unbelievable.
Sunny skies today. We'll have a high reaching 68 degrees. And again, that's, not a lot of clouds, not a lot of wind. This isn't like a typical fall day where it warms up a little bit. It's going to feel like, at least this afternoon,
it warmed up yesterday well into the mid-60s. And if you were in the sun, it was just beautiful. And today, we'll be close to 70. And really, through the weekend like this.
Yeah, after that, clear overnight tonight, a low of 45. Friday, mostly sunny, a high of 69. Saturday, partly sunny, a high of 73. Sunday, rain showers in the forecast, otherwise cloudy, a high of 70. Monday, sunny, high of 67. We begin to cool off a bit on Tuesday. But again, mostly sunny with a high of 60. Right now, we have mostly cloudy skies, and we are at 42 degrees. WIBX News Time, 7:07. Here's Keeler with sports.
Okay, I want to start with the World Series last night. The Astros made history in the World Series. Houston's pitching staff combined to no-hit the Phillies en route to a 5-0 win in Game 4 in Philadelphia. Christian Javier threw 6 scoreless frames, struck out 9, and then was pulled. He was perfect and was pulled. That's Manaski's thing.
Well, I'm telling you, if I had been the pitcher, obviously I'm not, but I would have made history as the first pitcher ever ejected from a World Series game while throwing a no-hitter. I would have been like, Coach, what are you doing?
Well, and I almost felt like, and this, how many times does this happen? It did not happen, though. It did not come back to bite Houston last night. How many times does this happen? You have a pitcher who's going, your starting pitcher's killing it, and you follow your analytics. It's like, okay, we're going to bring in middle relief. The middle reliever comes in and blanks to bed. You know exactly what I mean, right? And all of a sudden, I just felt like, okay, you just gave Philadelphia their opportunity. That was their opportunity to come back. Now, they didn't do it, but anytime you make a pitching change like that, it just feels like it's an opportunity. But then again, I'm a Mets fan, so that's what life was like for us. Anyway, the series is now tied at 2 apiece, and there you have that. The Hawks extended the Knicks' losing streak to 3 games after topping New York 112-99 at Madison Square Garden. I've got everything all over the place here.
Sorry.
Thursday Night Football tonight. It's the Philadelphia Eagles. Interestingly, very mirroring the World Series. It's Philadelphia and Houston. The Houston Texans, Philadelphia Eagles go at it on Monday night or Thursday Night Football. The only place you can get that is delivered to your door by Amazon. You have to have the subscription to Amazon Prime. If you do, you can watch it flawlessly on your TV, but you got to have the subscription. That's tonight. And if you don't have the subscription,
check us out.
Is there another way you could get the game?
On the radio, brought to you by Tri-County Heating and Air Conditioning. And we've got all Thursday night, Sunday night, and Monday night football games right here on WIBX.
Syracuse going into who's Syracuse playing on Saturday? Pittsburgh, right? They're going into where?
In Pittsburgh.
Okay, they're playing in Pittsburgh. They are 3.5 as of yesterday. It looked like 3.5 point underdogs going to that game yesterday.
3:30 on the ACC network.
And they're on a bit of a skid. They've lost their last 2. One was close, but the the game with Notre Dame was a bit of a debacle.
Wait, is Pitt good?
No,
yeah, Pitt's 4-3. They're
okay,
having
so wait a minute.
We went an off season, but you never know. Pittsburgh always plays Syracuse
tough,
very, very tough.
But I think the question is, Vegas is looking at this saying, well, Syracuse is they've lost their last 2, and Schrader, is he out or is he in?
I haven't read anything.
I got to tell you something.
That second-string quarterback's pretty good.
I love this reserve quarterback.
Well,
I loved him. I thought he threw the ball really, really well. And he ran a little bit, too. But Schrader was just this guy that was running over everybody. But I think they've kind of figured that out. He got nowhere with Notre Dame. It'll be interesting. That's a 3:30 game on Saturday. Oh, and by the way, last night, the Utica Comets picked up a point. They lost in a shootout 4-3 to the Providence Bruins last night at the Adirondack Bank Center. The Comets are on the road on Friday, at home on Saturday, and will not be home again until, I believe, Veterans Day, which is all the way a week from tomorrow at the Adirondack Bank Center. So they are home this Saturday, though. Anything else you want me to do?
No.
I'll break, and a big hour, a lot to get to. There's a new business in Rome, City Smoke and Beverage, Copper City Smoke and Beverage. We'll talk about Flags for Heroes. Want to get into that. Rhonda Youngs is running as a write-in candidate for Madison County Judge. Please, this is a good choice, and we'll explain why and speak to her as to why. Loving that traffic pattern downtown. I have a comment here. Mike Gentile is coming up in a few minutes. We'll speak with him. But Julie says, going south on Genesee Street through Oriskany Boulevard, where there's a quick merge to one lane, yesterday there were cars backed up blocking Oriskany Boulevard in the intersection after the light changed. Not well planned, unacceptable, frustrating for those of us who work downtown. So we'll get into that a little later on this morning as well.
Wayne commenting this morning, he said it looks good. He's not sure that he doesn't know yet if it's actually good, but he thinks the look of it is a good look for downtown. I believe that's what he was conveying.
The look? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Got a break. We'll come back. 712 at WIBX.
Mark Rose's experience is unique. City Court Judge in Little Falls for the last 14 years. Visiting Judge for Utica. As a 30-year practicing attorney, Mark Rose has argued cases at all levels up to the Court of Appeals. He's served as a municipal attorney in towns and villages across New York's 5th Judicial District. And now Mark Rose is running for state Supreme Court to serve all of us. Experience, integrity. Mark Rose for state Supreme Court.
Paid for by the committee to elect Mark Rose for state Supreme Court.
Hi, this is Joe Cordell with the law firm Cordell & Cordell. When the prospect of divorce becomes a reality, you need a partner that you can count on. If you're a man in this situation, consider contacting Cordell & Cordell. We've helped men navigate complex legal matters for 30 years.
Contact Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's New York attorneys. 518-554-0000. Online at CordellCordell.com. 100 Great Oaks Boulevard, Suite 110, Albany, New York, 12203.
Hello, I'm Lisa Altieri, Chief Clinical Officer for Hospice and Palliative Care, and the family of a patient shared with me their gratitude to hospice. We lost our sibling after a courageous battle with cancer. From the very first meeting with hospice, our sister was assured by every hospice person that she would remain in control and that her wishes would be carried out. That knowledge sustained her and took an enormous responsibility off her family members. In the weeks that followed, hospice provided an incredible amount of support and comfort to her and our entire family. Every person from hospice answered our questions, soothed our nerves, and provided comfort and guidance to each of us, all while respecting her privacy and dignity. We can't begin to express to you how much that meant to our family.
Hospice and Palliative Care, servicing Oneida, Herkimer, and Madison County. Middle Settlement Road, New Hartford, 315-735-6484, or visit us at hospicecareinc.org. Hospice and Palliative Care. When you need us most.
Finding the right Medicare plan? Oof, no easy feat. Kind of like those dances my granddaughter loves making me do. But then I found Walgreens FindRx coverage. Lets you compare plans online, over the phone, or in person. Made Medicare shopping so easy. Plus, I found plans with low-cost copays. I can get down with that. When you need to talk Medicare, Walgreens is here. Start shopping today at walgreens.com/Medicare.
Two very different people are running to become the next Oneida County clerk. One has made wild, false claims in her commercials, picked fights with the county executive, the county legislature, and others. She denigrates anyone who disagrees and clearly believes that her law degree has given her superpowers and the know-how to do everybody else's job. On the other side, there's Mary Finnegan, a level-headed, common-sense leader who served as clerk in the town of Whitestown for the last 17 years. She wrote and won a grant that modernized the office, made customer service a priority, and now wants to do the same for Oneida County. She will keep the Rome DMV open, and she'll work to improve the experience at all DMV locations. All this while protecting the public's private information. The fact is, there's no one better suited for this job. This election, please vote for experience. Vote Mary Finnegan, Oneida County Clerk, paid for by Friends of Mary Finnegan.
I can't take this kitchen any longer. Carl, we need to start looking for a new house.
Honey, you know the housing market is tight. It's going to be next to impossible to find something that we like.
I know, but this kitchen has to go.
Hey, what about a home equity loan from Adirondack Bank? We can turn the equity from our home into cash to renovate, just the way you want.
Renovate?
Adirondack Bank has competitive rates, and they've been a trusted community bank for decades.
A new kitchen. Wouldn't that be awesome?
Yeah.
Then, of course, we would need new furniture, and we could repair the deck, even add a pool, and take that trip to Italy that we've always talked about.
Whoa, slow down, honey. Let's go talk to the experts at Adirondack Bank about that home equity loan. Then we can decide where to start.
I've always wanted to add on a craft room, and our bathroom needs a facelift.
Don't move. Improve. Stop into your local Adirondack Bank branch for more information on a home equity loan or visit AdirondackBank.com. Bank local with Adirondack Bank, your hometown community bank. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
All right, I'm about to show you something you might have already seen, but I got to tell you, it is much improved. If you were to look, check us out on YouTube Live this morning. I'm going to show you a photo, and it's coming right up. So go to YouTube Live, search for Keeler live stream. If you subscribe to it, it'll be in your email every morning. You just click on it, and you're right there. So you should subscribe to it as well. And while you're at it, download our app. Just search WIBX 950. So much technology, so many opportunities to watch and listen and all of that stuff. We have an FM signal now, 106.9 FM, an AM signal that we've always had. And I believe there's a guy in Rome who actually listens through the fillings in his teeth. If you get near him, you can kind of hear us a little bit. It's amazing. The closer he gets, the louder the audio.
We're also thinking about adding a new audience pavilion.
We're thinking
studio
about it,
broadcast.
Right out in the back there, we open up the screen, and
there you go.
Here we are. Davey, let's give away a table for 6 at Fat Cats Comedy Club. This weekend, Eric Grady is a phenomenally funny, look him up, phenomenally funny comedian who is known as the world's tallest stand-up comic. I'll bet all of his jokes will be about short people. Probably not. The world's smallest comic. Very funny guy. He'll be in studio tomorrow morning, as a matter of fact. First caller through the lines, Davey. Give him a table for 6. Any show this weekend, Friday night or 2 shows Saturday. You pick the show. FatCatsComedyClub.com. All right. You got that, Davey? Good deal. Thanks, man. Now, remember the controversy last year when they picked the Rockefeller Christmas tree? The Christmas tree in Rockefeller Center, they got somebody from upstate New York.
Yeah.
They brought the tree down, and then when they put it up, I was there to see this. It was the ugliest thing you've ever seen in your life. It was terrible. And I don't know that it was terrible when they chopped it down. But it was awful looking. It was the ugliest tree. I felt like Charlie Brown was coming to town. And they literally take this big drill, and they drill in, and they poke in branches to fill it out. And when they were done working on it, scaffolding all around the tree, when they were done working on it, it looked really nice. This year, they will not, and this is the part where if you're watching on YouTube Live, you'll see it. This is, are you ready? This year's Christmas tree. It's perfect. It's the most beautiful Christmas tree.
It does seem so symmetrical.
It is.
It's not missing any branches.
It isn't. It's like the perfect Christmas tree. And once again, it has been taken from a family in upstate New York. In this case, it's in the Queensbury area. The head gardener for Rockefeller Center was driving through an upstate New York town this spring. When he saw it, he calls it the tree. And it really is. Saying it's a glorious Norway spruce. That's how they describe it. I'm fighting off a sneeze here.
So I feel like
Can't sneeze today. You sneeze today, people think you have COVID.
I feel like it's the story you'll catch from an older uncle. When I stepped off the tarmac and
I couldn't believe what I saw.
Texas,
it was the most glorious tree I'd ever seen.
Well, usually he's talking about his wife. She was the most beautiful girl.
Gloriously beautiful.
And I feel like this is how he's talking about this tree.
It was a glorious tree. I saw the tree in Queensbury, and it was beautiful. And he said, I want that tree. And the family's like, sure, you can have it. I don't think they pay. Maybe they do. Anyway, it's a town just south of Lake George. That's Queensbury. Eric Paws was on his way to Glens Falls to check out another contender for Rockefeller's 2022 Christmas tree. When he used this, he said, I got to have this one. And when you see the photo, which we're showing, it's 82 feet tall. It's 14 tons. And It will be the tree starting on November 30th at a live ceremony that will be at Rockefeller Center. Beautiful. Just beautiful. So there you have it. Last year's was the ugliest ever. This year, I don't know. Will they damage it getting down there? You got to wrap the thing up. Does it break the branches? I don't know. But I will tell you, this is the perfect tree. I'm surprised they're even getting rid of it.
Yeah, it almost looks like it's got garland or something on it, right? With almost that it would be invisible. You can't see it, but it's just the way it's laid out.
We are enamored.
Perfect.
By it. Enamored by it.
And so was the guy.
It's like Manaski's like in the middle of like smoking pot or something. Like, look at that tree. That is such a beautiful tree. And we just can't take our eyes off it. Looking at the tree. Isn't it beautiful?
Okay, did you just say the Manaski in the middle of smoking pot or something?
Sorry, that just popped out. I'm sorry.
Okay.
It's just the way you're enamored by the tree. I'm like, yeah, look at that tree. Wow, it's beautiful. And we have a smoke thing coming up. That's what kind of popped it in my head. We're plugging a new business this morning. This is not a sales thing. It's just something that we saw. And each time a new business pops up, it's good for us in the community. And if you know of a business you'd like us to plug away at, then just let us know, and we will. Anthony Verano is in Rome and is opening up Copper City Smoke and Beverage. And this caught your eye because it's a little bit on the, it offers something a little different than what we're used to.
Yeah, and obviously we'll find out from Anthony. They're doing tastings. This was, I found it interesting that it's the alcohol and smoke. But, and I didn't know, to be honest with you, I still don't know as of this moment if smoke is limited to tobacco products or if they're looking to start a new venture with some of the changes in the laws in New York State.
Anthony Verano, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Thanks for having me on this morning.
All right, so we're plugging your business now. It's up to you to do it. By the way, so how is this unique? It's Copper City Smoke and Beverage. Talk about it.
So Copper City Smoke and Beverage is not your traditional smoke shop or your beer store. We had the idea that when most people either smoke or drink, they do them together. So we ventured out and got a special license that allows us to sell everything in the same place without having to be a convenience store per se.
Yep.
The other thing that's special about us is we really focus on a lot of the influence from the West Coast, where a lot of the smoking trends really come from first, sometimes weeks, months, sometimes years before they get over to here.
Okay.
So we're trying to bring those over to the East Coast faster than they normally get here.
So explain what the experience will be like. So you when you say you'll have tastings, are you putting tastings together with a like beer together with a cigar?
So the tasting event that we did was actually part of our grand opening, which went really well. So these are events that we're going to be looking to put together in the coming year more frequently.
Okay.
And what our license allows us to do as well is we can have breweries come on site. We can have beer pourings for on site. So it's a little bit of a different experience.
Okay, cool.
But from the day to day, we'll be able to be a full service smoke shop and a full service beer store. If there's anything special that you're looking for, we have the capability to go directly to breweries and find that beer. If there's a beer that you tasted while you were in California,
I see.
You like that beer, we can reach out to them, and if they can ship it to us, we can get it for you.
I will say that it has become a big deal today, right? With the with a lot of these, especially with the younger demographic, some of these beers, and they sell for like my son is in Denver, and he's loves all these different beers that look like wine bottles, and in some cases, some of these more rare beers, you might spend $80-$90 on a beer. And it's unbelievable.
It's not unheard of.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I'm not saying it's crazy, but I mean, it's good for you, Anthony. I mean, the more they spend on the beer, the better it is. But there are these rare beers that you can get that they do in limited fashion, and it's almost a collectible market right now. And people love to pull out one of these rare beers, and you have friends over, and you do your own tasting at your house. So there's a big calling for it.
It's huge right now, and the amount of breweries that pop up, not only locally but throughout the country, is just unbelievable.
Yeah.
So again, if there's a beer that you taste somewhere and you want to try to get it in, a perfect example is I had a neighbor of mine who was down in Florida, and he had a beer called Cigar City. That was a local brewery in Florida, and he said, I really like that beer. Would it be possible for you to get it in? It took a little bit of time, but we got it in and we were carrying it.
Nice. Okay, Anthony, where are you located and what are your hours?
We're located at 218 South James Street in Rome, New York, right next door to Denny's. We are Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., and Saturday and Sunday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m.
All right. Anthony Verano, thank you for your time. It's Copper City Smoke and Beverage. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Have a
Take
great
care.
day.
Good luck.
In the studio right now is Judy Hauk, and Judy is you're in the final days of your time at the Good News Center. So,
yep, I am, Bill.
and congratulations on first of all on everything that has happened at the Good News Center and the stuff that you guys have done based on your direction.
Thank you.
And congratulations on retirement. Actually, you're really not retiring. You're moving on to a new profession called traveling the world, I believe.
Yep, that's what I'm going to be doing.
Good for you.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. But right now, one of the things that I would say you are most proud of is this event that's going on right now.
You're absolutely right, Bill. I think most people in our community already know about Flags for Heroes. People look forward to it every year. They ask about it. When can we, start sponsoring flags? Because they do it every year. They sponsor a flag for a loved one. We put up the flags yesterday, so people can already drive by the Memorial Parkway and see the flags that are up there. And people were actually walking the field as we were putting the tags on yesterday, looking for those that are commemorating or honoring their loved one.
Okay.
So it's called a healing field because it really is.
Yeah.
People, I had a gentleman yesterday who was brought to tears telling me his story about his Vietnam experience. So people, it's a way for them to release their emotions about whether it's their own experience or their loved one's experience.
And I do have to say that the Vietnam experience I think is so important because they weren't celebrated when they came home. It was really, really difficult when they came home.
And that was the gentleman I was speaking with yesterday was actually a Vietnam veteran. And it's beyond that, which I guess I was more thinking the way you were thinking about not being recognized, excuse me, when they came back. But he was talking about how it was a very different war in that the fact that it was not a defined enemy for them.
Right,
Whereas in World War II, everybody knew who we were fighting. The soldiers knew who they were fighting. They were recognizable. Whereas in Vietnam, they didn't know who the enemy was. The enemy could have been a child because they were spying on them or a woman. And this gentleman shared his whole experience with me. And one of the things he said is that it's taken him all these years to come to terms with that, but he's also come to terms with the fact that these were human beings. It was a very difficult time. And that's, I think, what a lot of Vietnam veterans are struggling with is that undefined enemy that they had.
So this is almost like, first of all, you can go over there, you can park near the rec center.
Yep.
You could walk through, it's in the median where all the flags are. You could walk through there, and as you said, get in and take a look at the who each one is sponsored for, the names. That's something you can do. But even just taking the long route around where you're trying to go and driving up the parkway to see it, you got to see it, and it's up until next weekend.
Yep,
right?
it's up through November 13th. This coming weekend, we are actually having a ceremony, and we're inviting the public to attend, and that will be held at 3:30 at the Parkway, and it'll be right inside the Parkway Center. So everybody's invited to come. We will be having represented from Feed Our Vets there, they'll be doing a food drive for our veterans. Express Employment is bringing their Humvee, so people can come and take a look at a real Humvee. So it's a commemorating event. It's to honor our veterans. Specifically this year, we'll be honoring our Vietnam veterans. So we're inviting everyone to come to the Parkway Center at 3:30 this coming Saturday.
Okay. And as you said, Veterans Day is next week, and this will be up past Veterans Day to the 13th, which is
so
Sunday,
people
I
can
believe.
right, so that people can come and walk through the field and to see what all the different names, all the people that are being recognized by their loved ones.
And can I just say, it is the most beautiful thing in the world when you look over there and you have the changing leaves, although we've lost a lot of leaves early this year, but you have the sunshine. And we're going to get a lot of sunshine over the next 3 days, and it just takes it just brightens up that red, white, and blue. That whole parkway looks so beautiful. It is definitely something to see.
Yep, and we talk about our flag and what it means to people, and when you talk to a veteran, they fought for the flag, and at this point in our life, in our culture, the flag has become a flashpoint. There are people who either love it or want to use it as a method of protest, but regardless of that, the flag represents all of us.
Right.
It's all of us in the United States. And the more that we come together and the more that we recognize our commonality as opposed to the divisiveness that can be promoted out there, the more this country will grow and thrive. So I think the flag can go back to that symbol of it's us. It's all of us, good or bad.
Boy, don't we need that now more than ever.
Absolutely.
No doubt about it. Judy, congratulations on all of what you've accomplished over there.
Bill.
And for those that don't know, the Good News Center, these programs are absolutely free. Yes, this is for veterans, but if you're having, if there's grief in your life, if you're having marital issues, there's so many programs that you offer that are free. And sometimes you just need somebody to talk to.
Absolutely. And just to get back a little bit to the flags, the money that we raise from that event goes to Citron's military program, which helps those post 9/11 veterans who have they're getting services that they wouldn't normally be able to receive through like a physician's office or other places. It's more of a just a place where they can even bond together with other veterans, and they have a wonderful program. Kind of similar to Wounded Warrior, where they can be doing different things to help them grow and be together. And that's where we donate the money. And last year alone, we raised over $24,000 for them.
Wow.
And so, this helps them. But going back to the programs, which to segue into that, the programs that we have at the Good News Center are free. Whether it's for people who want to improve their marriage, as you said, Bill, people who are going through grief, or people who are just looking for other people who might be going through similar circumstances. And that's what this is all about, is that peer support. So we don't offer counseling. We get a lot of calls about that, but that's not who we are. We are looking for people to bond with other people who are going through similar circumstances. They help and support each other.
Yeah.
And so that's what we do.
Judy Hawk, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Nice job.
Glad to be here.
Got a break, 7:34. Let's do, Davey, our free money question of the day from the Hobica Law Firm. Chance for you to win $106.90. And what caller you want here this morning?
5.
Caller 5 right now, 315-736-0186 from Hobica and WIBX.
This year, we, the people of Oneida County, have a choice. We can bow down to the political establishment, or we can stand up on our own 2 feet. I'm Marima Smagic-Oren. The race for Oneida County Clerk is more than just another election. It's a fight to decide who runs this county, the people or the politicians. Mary Finnegan's made her choice. She's the establishment's candidate, taking orders from the establishment's bosses. The difference between Mary Finnegan and me? She's running because she'll do what Tony Picenti tells her to do. I'm running because I know what to do. I'm an attorney and a real estate professional who works with the county clerk's office day in and day out. I'm a lawyer who knows the clerk is indispensable to New York State Supreme Court. My opponent files dog licenses and hands out parking permits. I deal with deeds, mortgages, and Supreme Court judges. I'm Marima Smagic-Oren. I put people over politics. Paid for by the Friends of Marima Smagic-Oren.
At River Hills Properties, it's all about a market that is really on fire
Every day
right
at
now.
NBT
If you're
Bank,
looking to
we
buy or
focus
sell-
our business around all the ways we can help yours. We're large enough to offer leading business and digital solutions, but local enough to ensure personalized one-on-one service. So turn to NBT Bank for a full range of business solutions, like capital and treasury management services, even fraud protection, and see how NBT Bank is just the right size to help you do big things. Visit nbtbank.com to learn more and start a conversation. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Hi, this is Joe Cordell with the law firm Cordell & Cordell. When the prospect of divorce becomes a reality, you need a partner that you can count on. If you're a man in this situation, consider contacting Cordell & Cordell. We've helped men navigate complex legal matters for 30 years.
Contact Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's New York attorneys. 518-554-0000. Online at CordellCordell.com. 100 Great Oaks Boulevard, Suite 110, Albany, New York 12203.
Long before the sun rises and the highways are busy with traffic, before the kids are on the buses and first shift workers begin their day, Sheriff Rob Mashel is hard at work, making sure our community is a safe place for all of us to live. It's what keeps him up at night and gets him up early every day. It's his passion. It's his purpose. It's his job.
I'm Oneida County Sheriff Rob Mashel. The men and women of the Oneida County Sheriff's Office are making a positive difference. Children are safer in schools because a trained officer is on duty at almost every school. Our deputies stand with area police departments to combat increased crime. If we continue working together, we'll keep Oneida County safe. I'm Oneida County Sheriff Rob Mashel. Law enforcement is my family. Your safety and their safety matter to me.
This November, re-elect Rob Mashel, your Oneida County Sheriff. Paid for by friends of Rob Mashel.
Adirondack Home Furniture wants you to fall in love with your home again. With their timeless design and incredible craftsmanship, their furniture is the type of furniture that gets passed down from generation to generation. For years, Adirondack Home Furniture has been providing quality and comfort to Central New York. From American-made pieces and new Amish pieces to top designers, Adirondack Home Furniture has what you want. Whether you're looking to redo your living room, dining room, bedroom, kids' rooms, or just need some pieces to get your home ready for the holidays, Adirondack Home Furniture has that perfect piece. With a fully stocked showroom and the best prices of the season, you need to stop in today. Adirondack Home Furniture has non-commissioned salespeople, which means you enjoy a relaxing, low-pressure shopping experience. They also pride themselves on their unmatched customer service and attention to detail. Stop into Adirondack Home Furniture today and get your home ready for the holidays. Riverside Center in North Utica, or go to AdirondackHomeFurniture.com.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
All right, Davey, let's do our free money question from the Hobeika law firm, Joseph and Andrew Hobeika. And I think an easy one today, easy question today. Joseph and Andrew Hobeika, the Hobeika law firm, HOBIKA, 315-724-1600 is the phone number. Davey, who do we have on the line? My screen went dead.
3 is Kelly from Whitesboro.
Line number 3 is Kelly from Whitesboro. All right, thank you, Davey. Hello, Kelly. Good morning in Whitesboro. How are you?
Good. And how are you, Bill?
I'm doing very well. Ready to go through a beautiful day today. It's going to be beautiful. And the next couple of days are going to be beautiful. This is all bonus weather for us, not used to it.
Definitely.
All right, I think I have a good question for you that I think you can pull off and walk away with the cash here today.
I hope so.
I have in line, though, just in case, we have Billy Joel Tribute with Ricky Zaccaro, Ricky Z, for Friday night. We have 72 Tavern and Grill, $25 gift card. We also have the Fat Cats Comedy Club tickets. So you'll be in good hands, but let's get this and take the cash. Here we go.
Okay.
Here we go with your question. She's coming to the Turning Stone Resort and Casino, and tickets go on sale, I believe, this week. Leanne Rimes. How old was Leanne Rimes when she broke through the country music scene with her song Blue? Ready, go.
Yeah, I don't know. 14?
Oh, was it not 14?
Is it 13?
Yeah, it is 13. You were so darn close. Yeah, and she did not sound 13, let me tell you. I think, I mean, when you hear her singing this song, she sounds like a very mature woman. You knew here it is, right here. What? That is not 13 years old.
No.
crazy.
That's called an old soul, Bill.
That's an old soul. You're absolutely right. That's crazy. I will give you, though, the $25 gift card from the 72 Tavern and Grill at the Adirondack Bank Center. In addition, I'll give you the Billy Joel tickets, tribute tickets for Friday night, if you can go to that. And I have Fat Cats Comedy Club tickets for you, a table for 8. Davey will hook you all up with all of this, Kelly. And you,
oh, my goodness.
You stand by, all right?
Thank you.
All right, thanks so much. An old soul. You're absolutely right,
I
Kelly.
can't believe she's 13.
Man, listen
singing
to
that.
this. Just listen to this. 13 years old. Wow. Yeah. Coming up, we'll speak with Rhonda Young. She is running for Madison County Judge. Is a write-in candidate. You're going to have to write her name in if you're early voting right now or if you're voting on Election Day. We'll talk about that coming right up. First, before we get to that, Mohawk Valley Crime Stoppers, each week we do a Wanted Person of the Week. The story is up on our website right now at WIBX950.com. And Mike Curley is with us right now from UPD. Mike, good morning. Who are we looking for today?
Good morning again, guys. So this week's Utica Police Wanted Person of the Week is Anthony Lang. He's a 35-year-old male currently residing in Whitesboro. He has 2 felony contempt first warrants and an aggravated harassment warrant stemming from some domestic incidents occurring this year.
Okay, so 3 different, is it 2 warrants you said?
3.
3
2
warrants.
felony criminal contempts for the violation of an order of protection and an aggravated harassment.
Okay. So if someone, you can look, full story is up on our website, and so is a photo. If you can look at this and you have any idea, any tips that you could offer to authorities, Mike, it's easy to do, and it's easy to do it 100% anonymously.
Yeah, that's right. So always through Crime Stoppers, the 800 number or the P3 tips line. Both can be found on your website as well as our Facebook page, how to, like you said, 100% anonymously report this particular individual or any type of crime.
Okay. All right, Mike. And by the way, any update on the Proctor incident?
So the individual is still being held for his next appearance through the family court system in a secure juvenile facility. So we'll kind of just wait till his next appearance of family court to see which jurisdiction is going to take it, whether it's going to stay in the youth part of family court or go to an adult court. So I think it's still up for decision with the DA's office and with respect for the the cooperation of the victim and the injuries and things like that.
So despite, what people I think are wondering, despite bail reform and all of this, this individual, this 17-year-old, is being held.
He is. So, there are a finite number of beds that, having a qualifying condition or crime, individuals can be held. Unfortunately, it's just very unlikely lately. But in this case, he was held pending his next appearance.
And I have to say, this is a great example of where the bail system actually does perform a good service. Now, think about this. You have clearly whatever happened at that school, which is awful. Mike, it was certainly premeditated. Something had to happen. So there is a side A and a side B here that can then spill out into the public. If this kid's let go, he's out there. You almost expect there to be some sort of retaliation, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, that's exactly right. I think everybody, we've talked about it a lot. The reforms never should have been about, do you have the money to get yourself out of jail? But the dangerousness to the community needs to be a factor that judges can take into effect. Like you just said, I don't think it's money any more evident than this particular case right here.
Yep, I think you're absolutely right. 17 years old. Okay, the Mohawk Valley Crime Stoppers Wanted Person of the Week is up on our website, WIBX950.com, where all the instructions on how you can report any information that you might have anonymously, and there could be a reward if it leads to an arrest. Mike Curley, as always, thanks for your time.
Bill, thanks as always.
Right.
Have a good day.
Have a great day. I want to keep this going if we can. Rhonda Youngs is a write-in candidate in a very unique situation in Madison County. This is a candidate who has been endorsed by the Republicans, by the Conservative Party in Madison County, and by the Democrat Party, all being endorsed, and she is not on the ballot. It comes from a case where the person who is on the ballot was an assistant DA. There was an incident. It involved overdose. Later on, toxicology reports showed fentanyl was involved. And the general thought was, and this person resigned from the DA's office, the general feeling has been the Republicans and conservatives withdrew their endorsement, and everybody, each of the three parties, something rare to see, working together to try to get Rhonda Youngs elected as a write-in candidate. There is information up on our website on how you can do that, and Rhonda Youngs is on the line right now. Good morning. Oh, I'm sorry. Like the button's magically going to hit for me. I have her now. Good morning, Rhonda.
Good morning, Bill. Thank you for having me again.
So, again, this has been a unique situation where all competing parties working together, it's not something you really ever see.
Correct. It's unprecedented, but I think it shows you the gravity of the situation and the importance of this position. You know, a judge is really held to a higher standard. They have to live up to being called the honorable.
Yeah.
And I think that it really is a case of the political parties here in Madison County coming together to do what's in the best interest of our community. And, you know, to me, that means a lot because having worked in this court for the past almost 7 years, you know, on a daily basis, a family court judge does what's in the best interest of the child and the families in front of them every day. So I think it's been so telling that the parties have all come together and doing this, you know, for the betterment of the community.
I wrote a story about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, endorsing you, just because I think judges should be held to a higher standard. And based on what has happened, while this does not close the door on your opponent, I feel like in this day and age, it's very common to see someone get their affairs in order and ask for forgiveness or however you want to do it, and then come back into the limelight. And we are a forgiving society. But right now, with all of this happening, I don't know how this person can serve as judge.
Agreed. And your write-up was absolutely wonderful. It was very well reasoned and logical. Again, I'm under the most unique circumstances I think probably any candidate is at the moment. But it's very true. We are a tight-knit group here in Madison County, and we see it every day in our courts, how addiction affects our community and how people can absolutely come back from that and be stronger in the end.
So, you know, running for office, it's difficult enough to get the voter to pull your lever or fill in your bubble. But in this particular case, you're not even on the ballot. Unique strategies that you've tried in the last month or so to help get your name out there, considering you're not actually on the ballot?
Yeah, I've been very fortunate that I have so much support that, you know, one major strategy has been going door to door, but I've got a lot of ground to cover. I'm running this entire countywide race. I have lots of volunteers who have come out of, you know, just people I didn't even know coming to help me do that, going door to door and making sure that everybody has, I've got a little instruction sheet on how to do the write-in properly and make your vote count. And we're making sure we get that into as many voters' hands as possible because we want everybody to know that they can take that instructional sheet with them to the polls. So, one, they can spell my name correctly, and even more importantly, get it in the correct box because you have to go over to the column that says Madison County Judge and then all the way down the ballot, down that column to the bottom row where it says write-in, and you've got to write my name inside that box, and that's the way to make your vote count for this judge race.
RHONDAYOUNGS, Youngs with an S at the end. If they dropped off the S, would they still accept? I mean, if the intent is there, I think we discussed this the last time.
Yes, absolutely. If the intent of the voter is clear, the Board of Elections here in Madison County, we believe, will count that. So if you drop the S off of Youngs or possibly the H out of Rhonda, that would still be counted.
Okay. And then the last thing I wanted to mention on your behalf here is one of the things that I wrote in my piece was that it's almost fitting that you're the write-in candidate here, the potential replacement, based on what you do and your experience. It's not like you're walking into this inexperienced. You're if the two of you were going head to head in a normal election, I would call you probably more experienced based on what you currently do and what you have done.
Well, thank you, Bill. I definitely have a lot of experience behind me, and that's critical for being a judge. That I've been in that courtroom that I seek to preside over on a daily basis for the past 6.5 years. And before that, I had a successful private practice where I was a litigator. I was doing jury trials. I've done a lot of a broad practice. And I also, make sure I'm involved in other prestigious committees like the committee interviewing and vetting new attorneys. But, a judge has to have that intellect, has to have that experience. But I think probably even more importantly is having that integrity to do the job. And that's what I'm, offering and selling myself to the Madison County voters is I just want to get to work on your behalf. And I can do every aspect of this job on day one.
Rhonda Youngs, RHONDAYOUNGS, a write-in candidate in Madison County, a very unique situation. We wish you the best. Election Day Tuesday, early voting is today, tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bill.
Have a great day. Good luck out there. You can read her story and her credentials as well up on our website at WIBX950.com.
You could almost do like the Mickey Mouse song with their names. RHONDAYOUNGS.
YOUNGS. Add the S. Don't forget the S.
That's one way to remember it on Tuesday.
That's a good way. Okay, GOP Chairman Mike Gentile in studio right now. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
So,
take your bike down Genesee Street yet?
I did not. I do enjoy taking Genesee Street, just in general. I'm not an arterial guy. I like.
Well,
Genesee
I think
Street.
that it's funny if you're.
I'm not usually in a hurry to get home.
What I find very, very interesting is I'm a get there quickly person. I'm an arterial person, and the fastest route.
Same here.
But I find people who are my age and older, and apparently younger as well, who are from Utica, grew up in Utica their whole life, although you did.
Mm-hmm.
I find they like to travel. Oh, no, we're not going to do that. We'll go up Oneida Street. I'm going to get up, then I'm going to cut over. I'll come down. No, there's a quicker way. You take the arterial and cut over. That's the quickest way to go. But Uticans don't necessarily do that. But you're being told right now, well, to avoid congestion on Genesee Street that is newly caused, don't take Genesee Street. And is that the message for the business owners? I can't imagine it's the message that business owners on Genesee Street want right now.
No, I can't imagine either. And I think the big thing is you want traffic through your downtown. You want to make sure that your pride and joy, the Stanley Theater and stuff like that are being showcased, and people are utilizing that. I think the biggest thing, though, that's important is I'm not for or against the trial. I'm not for or against the idea. It's just the process in which it was presented to the public and really presented to the public after the fact.
The Chamber of Commerce has come out and presented a resolution that there should be immediately public hearings for the public to be able to come out and say, here's why we like this, here's why we don't. Do you agree with that?
I do agree. I think public input is going to be essential to any project. And what's really disappointing even now is we're only halfway through it. And we haven't even done it completely up to where they want to, which is Cottage Place. And that's
coming later, I guess.
And that's coming later because we weren't even prepared to do the work, which even shows more how, the council presenting it and putting it through, what they weren't prepared for it either. So why was it so essential that day not to put it through committee? And then why was there no communication before? And then as we all saw, a ton of communication after.
Yeah.
Why is it coming after the fact? if it was tabled in committee the last council meeting and voted for yesterday, would that have really changed anything other than people would have been able to say, all right, we know this is happening. Yes, it's just a trial, as, you know, people are trying to say, oh, it's just a trial, it's just a trial. Okay, fine, but then we would have had the education over the 2 weeks to let people speak on it.
Do you, have you driven down through there?
I have.
Are you for it or against it?
I don't know. I haven't seen it at peak hours, you know, at 10 o'clock last night going through it. I haven't seen it, you know, trying to get to work or in a rush.
Yeah.
I think it's good. I'm not one that's against the idea of trying things out and checking and seeing what could work, but we just have to make sure that we're communicating with everybody that matters.
Yeah.
You know, and everybody that matters is everybody.
Right.
You know, anybody that wants to have an input. You know, I found it offensive in, you know, Council Person Aiello's response to me. You know, some people think they own the city. Well, who is that you're referring to? And this isn't petty politics.
How did we get there? What was the conversation?
I'm not sure. My statement was, you know, clearly just stating that, you know, the process should be better, the communication should be better.
And her answer to you was,
I've got it here. I'm just curious. Did you mention her by name?
I did.
Oh, you did.
I did. As a council person,
All right, let's
I think
hear it.
that's fair.
In context.
Well, I'm sorry. I've been sent a couple pieces of legislation here. I'm looking for. Essentially, she used words like petty and that you owned it, that you thought you owned the city, basically.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'll pull quotes here. I've lost the legislation. But what was your the thing that struck me as odd too was on city letterhead. I found that interesting.
Yeah. Well, you know,
as a council member, council letterhead.
So it was on City of Utica letterhead, and just basically saying that my response was, you know, petty and trying to politicize the process. Not trying to politicize the process, trying to call out where the process was done wrong. And
I think there have been plenty of people who have, in groups, like the Stanleys come out, the Chamber of Commerce, yourself. There are other common council members who, on the Republican side, who are against it.
And right now, okay, sure, it's just complete streets legislation, and it's just a trial. But what's stopping them if we don't call out the process now from doing with something that, you know, affects people on even a greater?
Right.
In the letter, she does make the comment about some people think they own the city. The GOP chairman's response was petty, personal, and politicized, an unfortunate relic of a time, and our politicians spend all of their time bickering and accusing each other of corruption instead of getting work done. So she did kind of.
Well, bickering takes two, and her statement sounds bickerish to me.
Yeah,
if that's a word. Just to be fair, all right. I want you to hold a second, and I want you to think about this. We fought over the Stewarts over in East Utica. We fought over the Kelberman Center. We're fighting now over another Stewart's going in where Raspberries used to be. We're fighting over the parking garage. We're fighting over the hospital.
Also, the Stewart's next to the arterial. They wanted that, but they were kind of upset that it didn't come quick enough.
Right, that one should have been there first.
Yes.
We don't need it over here. What in the? I mean, you can't seem to do anything in this town without fighting over it and arguing over it. Stand by, and we'll talk about that coming right up here. It's WIBX Utica Rome. Next hour, also, we might hear from Little Falls Mayor Mark Blask, who spoke to the Utica Common Council last night. We'll talk about that coming up.
Democracy under threat. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News. That's the theme of President Biden's speech in D.C., saying we have to reject threats of political violence and lies about who wins elections.
We must, with one overwhelming, unified voice, speak as a country and say there's no place for voter intimidation or political violence in America, whether it's directed at Democrats or Republicans.
Top House Republican Kevin McCarthy on Fox.
I listened to the president's speech. I don't remember hearing anything about inflation, about gas, about border, about fentanyl, about crime, or not even the 98 individuals on the border who are on the terrorist watch list they have caught.
Well, the president started that speech talking about the hammer attack on House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's husband, Paul. U.S. Capitol Police confirm officers in D.C. were not actively monitoring security cameras outside the Pelosi's home in San Francisco. The speaker was in Washington at the time.
The agency goes on to explain reps responded when an employee at its command center noticed a police car outside the residence. Capitol Police say they've started an internal security review and will be working with Congress to make the necessary changes. 42-year-old David DePape, who's accused of attacking Paul Pelosi with a hammer, faces several state charges, including attempted murder. Kristen Goodwin, Fox News.
Verbal punches during, a literal one thrown before debate in New Hampshire between Senate Democrat Maggie Hassan and Republican Dan Bolduc.
The Bolduc campaign claimed a bystander standing in the crowd outside the debate site took a swing at the former Army general and said that Bolduc was slightly grazed but not injured. Over the past 6 weeks, Bolduc has eaten into Hassan's once upper single-digit lead in the polls. And the most recent survey suggests the race is almost a dead heat.
Fox's Ted Lindner. There are evacuations after a train derailment and chemical spill in St. James Parish, Louisiana. Up to 20,000 gallons of hydrochloric acid leaked from a train car that tore open. America's listening to Fox News.
Hi, I'm Lisa Booth for Bishop Gold Group. Are you worried about your financial future as retirement gets closer? All over the country, soon-to-be retirees are fearing for their financial future as markets remain volatile. Bishop Gold Group helps you invest in gold and gold IRAs to protect your wealth and retirement during times of high inflation and wild swings in the market. Secure your future today. Contact Bishop Gold Group by dialing pound 250 from a mobile phone and say the keyword Bishop Gold, or visit bishopgoldgroup.com.
I miss my baby, someone stole my baby. By the way, my baby is my landscaping truck that was literally stolen from a job site. Baby, won't you please come home?
Owning a small business isn't always as lovely as it sounds, but with 30-plus customizable coverage options, Progressive Commercial keeps your business humming along. Get a quote in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com.
I love my sweetheart. By the way, that's my riding lawnmower.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Coverage and discounts not available for all vehicles or states. Policy terms and conditions apply.
A few clouds out there. We will have mostly sunny skies by the time we get into the afternoon. We have 44 degrees. WYBX News time is 8:03. This news update brought to you by Cliff's Local Market. They keep you going. After more than 60 years of service to the Utica area, Gaetano Construction has been acquired by Rochester-based Pike Construction Company. The announcement came just weeks after Charles Gaetano, the company's founder, passed away at the age of 99. Gaetano Construction was founded in 1960 by Charles Gaetano. He was born in 1923, a graduate of Proctor High School, and enlisted in the U.S. Navy, serving during World War II and the Korean conflict. More information on the history of Gaetano Construction and the news today at WIBX950.com. Charges being filed in the death of an inmate from the Central New York Psychiatric Center in Marcy who died after he was punched in the head by another inmate. The November 2021 fight stemmed from a dispute over a salt shaker, according to New York State Police. Terrence Blackman punched fellow inmate Anthony Diaz in the head following a disagreement. Diaz was hospitalized from the blow and ultimately died from the injury. Blackman was just recently indicted by an Oneida County grand jury on a charge of criminally negligent homicide. New York's economy will be getting a massive boost thanks to an announcement by Edwards Vacuum, the company planning to build a new dry pump manufacturing site in Genesee County. The more than $300 million facility will be located at the Western New York Science and Technology Advanced Manufacturing Park. Once construction is complete, it's expected the facility will create hundreds of new jobs for that region. Rome police say a man facing a DWI charge after he slammed his vehicle into the front porch of a home in the city. 51-year-old David Combs was allegedly driving on East Dominic Street when his pickup hit an empty vehicle that was parked before striking the porch. At the time of the crash, police say his blood alcohol content was more than twice the legal limit. Fly Creek Cider Mill and Orchard being ranked on the Best of the Best list issued by the American Business Association. The historic mill is being featured in their November-December issue. That magazine is called Destinations. And 2 students in Rochester detained after they were allegedly found to have brought a loaded weapon into a charter school. The 13-year-old boy and 14-year-old girl were found with the gun yesterday at the Academy of Health Sciences Charter School. The investigation continues into how they got the gun and then how they got it into the school. The principal there says there's no indication the teens were going to use the gun to hurt any students or staff. Your WIBX Weather Center forecast is brought to you by Clinton Tractor, the leader in service. Visit them today at clintontractor.net. Your Weather Center forecast, couldn't ask for a better one for early November. Mostly sunny skies through this afternoon, a high of 68 degrees. We'll have mostly clear skies through the overnight tonight. A low around 45. Friday, mostly sunny with a high near 69. Saturday, partly sunny, high of 73. Sunday, some rain possible, but a high of 70. Monday, sunny, a high of 67. And just go on like that forever. We have clear skies, 41 degrees. WIBX News Time 8:06. Here's Keeler with sports.
Bouncing ball to third, picked by Bregman. Throw close in time. The Astros have a World Series no-hitter.
How about that last night? The Astros making history. And, you know, after a night where they got clobbered and shut out, they do some clobbering of their own and shut out the Philadelphia Phillies 5-0, and it was a no-hitter. Manaski's basically saying it's Christian Javier who threw 6 no-hit innings, and then they just pulled him, and he was looking good. It just, I felt like that was the opening for the Phillies.
I thought so, too.
But it didn't work out that way, did it?
It didn't happen. I just can't imagine being pulled from a game in that situation. Certainly, I'd never be in that situation. But had they come back, what would the conversation be today? If Philly had used that opportunity, a pitching change?
Right. You should have left him in.
It's like, you know, I think he was right around 100 pitches. I don't have the exact number in front of me. I don't know that he, you know, you don't want to throw in 150, 160 pitches, but it's just surprising to see a guy who's on like that come out of the game.
This certainly gives Houston a home field advantage as worst case scenario or worst case for Philadelphia would be going into Houston, back to Houston, up 3-2. That would be the best case scenario. Going down 3-2 would be even worse. The series stays in Philly tonight for Game 5. We'll see what happens. Justin Verlander draws the start for Houston. Noah Syndergaard, a lost Met, toes the rubber for the Phillies. That's tonight. Last night, Utica Comets losing in a shootout 4-3, so they pick up a point, losing to the Providence Bruins. And it's Thursday Night Football is on tonight. The Eagles take their undefeated record into Houston. Interesting, Philadelphia at Houston, just like the World Series. That game is tonight on Amazon Prime. But if you can't get Amazon Prime, if you don't have the subscription, there is an opportunity for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, we have all Thursday night, Sunday night, and Monday night football games here on WIBX, brought to you by Tri-County Heating and Air Conditioning.
I want to talk about River Hills Properties, and it still remains the fastest-growing real estate company here in central New York because it's different. Nobody sells homes like River Hills Properties. And there are various things that make them different, various reasons why my wife and I decided to use River Hills when we sold our home. Number one on the list was the listing agent would be there every time we showed the house. Anytime someone walks through our home, maybe wants to take a look inside the medicine cabinet, at the very least, there's someone there on our behalf. That's because every time your house is shown, your listing agent is there. And it's very important because that can mean answering certain questions that you might have on the property and speeding up the process. The other part of this is the book. And that is anywhere from 30 pages, all depending on the size of the house and the property, to 100 pages, whatever is needed. And it's absolutely everything there is to know about the property. When was the addition put on? When did they put the pool in? The furnace, how old is it? Is there warranty still left on the furnace? Are the windows, New York sash windows? Is there a warranty on that? It's all there packaged into a book. And it's yours to keep, to take home, to determine, is this going to be my new home, our new home? The other part is if you end up buying it, that book serves as the manual for the home. Really, really handy, something very unique to River Hills Properties. So if you're looking to list your home and you're making a change, you've decided to move on, to maybe downsize just a bit, whatever it is you're looking to do, River Hills Properties is there for you. In Barneville, Little Falls, and Utica, nobody sells homes like River Hills. Nobody sells homes like River Hills Properties. We'll talk more with Mike Gentile on the traffic patterns and what is it about Utica where it seems like we fight over everything. Nothing can get done without a good fight. And a blast from the past for us around here. Brian Delaney, who worked at several radio stations in the area, is now an author and has written a new book. We'll talk about that with Brian coming up in a few minutes. 8:11 at WIBX.
Two very different people are running to become the next Oneida County clerk. One has made wild, false claims in her commercials, picked fights with the county executive, the county legislature, and others. She denigrates anyone who disagrees and clearly believes that her law degree has given her superpowers and the know-how to do everybody else's job. On the other side, there's Mary Finnegan, a level-headed, common-sense leader who served as clerk in the town of Whitestown for the last 17 years. She wrote and won a grant that modernized the office, made customer service a priority, and now wants to do the same for Oneida County. She will keep the Rome DMV open, and she'll work to improve the experience at all DMV locations. All this while protecting the public's private information. The fact is, there's no one better suited for this job. This election, please vote for experience. Vote Mary Finnegan, Oneida County Clerk, paid for by Friends of Mary Finnegan.
Truck crash? Choose William Mattar, the largest motor vehicle accident firm in the state. After a crash, an investigation may need to be started immediately, so call now. When you visit WilliamMattar.com, you'll see that motor vehicle accidents are what we do. Truck crash? Call William Mattar, 315-444-4444, South State Street, Syracuse, 315-444-4444.
New York, you deserve more. And with United Healthcare, you'll get more. Annual enrollment is October 15th through December 7th. So call United Healthcare today. With the United Healthcare Medicare Advantage plan, you get more from your Medicare dollar, now including better than ever dental, vision, over-the-counter, and prescription drug coverage. Call United Healthcare at 1-855-295-6277 today and speak with a licensed sales agent. Benefits, features, and/or devices vary by plan and area. Limitations and exclusions apply.
CABV's free community health fair will take place on Wednesday, November 9th from 3 to 6 p.m. at CABV's Vision Health and Wellness Center at 408 Elizabeth Street in Utica. There will be flu shots by the Oneida County Health Department, adult and preschool vision screenings, blood pressure screenings, fitness demonstrations, and more. Bring a non-perishable food item to support our vets and be entered to win an amazing door prize. CABV's free community health fair on Wednesday, November 9th.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
You got line one there, Davey. 813, and Mike Gentile is in the studio right now. We're talking briefly about this latest Utica controversy, and that is the traffic pattern with complete streets down Genesee, starting eventually at Cottage Place. Now, they haven't done that as of yet. This starts almost down a little further down, almost across from Fort Schuyler is where it starts to begin. Or I guess the arrows are near the Stanley, so it's beginning to tell people, warning, you're going to be merging. But what I'm told is that eventually it's going to be up to Cottage Street, so it'll include the Stanley Theater.
Yeah, that's what the resolution.
Yeah. All right, I asked you before the break, what is it about everything, the parking garage, the hospital, Kelberman, adding Stewart's to, it's like there's a fight over everything.
Well, I think we're passionate people, which is a good thing. I think people are invested, which is also a good thing. But I think when they really get elevated, it's examples like this where the communication happened after the fact. And the taxpayer, they feel like they were bypassed in the process.
Yeah.
And that's when I think it really gets elevated. And then you have the people that did it that are trying to play catch up and trying to convince everybody that it wasn't done that way. And then we get even more elevated. If we follow the appropriate process, we can avoid a lot of this. I firmly believe that if this went through committee, went through the right process, this probably passes 9-0 on the council, and we give it a shot.
Though, don't you think, though, putting the time and effort and potentially money into something like this could be better served somewhere else in the city, somewhere else where West Utica needs a lot of work.
Well, I think that, and I mean, there's been a lot of streets that have nothing. You want to talk about complete streets from that little section? There's streets that you don't even know what a traffic pattern is. You don't even know what lane is what.
The traffic
really disappointing.
The traffic pattern is avoiding the potholes and the sinkholes in some cases.
Yeah, and you talk about public safety. Public safety happens. By schools. We're seeing this by schools where kids are walking to and from school that we don't have anything on the roads, let alone that section of Genesee Street.
So you're the chair of the City Republican
City
Party.
of Utica Republican.
Talk about what will be different after taking over for the guy who gives money away on this program.
Do I have to do that now? Do I have to throw $100 down and
$20?
Yes.
You know what? I'm a dedicated person. I love my community. This is another way that I can give back to the community and hope for good government and good process like we're doing now. Just communication. I'm going to communicate. I'm going to be out there. I'm going to support our candidates. I'm going to support our people. But most of all, I'm going to support Utica and good government and trying to get things to the right situation for their constituents.
Okay. Anything else? It's interesting to get down that Genesee Street and to see the changes in traffic and see the longer lines. There are longer lines of traffic. It does exist.
Yeah.
So we'll see where all of this goes. All right, Michael, thank you.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Mike. I'm kind of shocked here because I think we have, I don't know if he's responding, I think we have the mayor of Utica on the phone.
Mayor, are you willing to speak with the mayor?
Sure.
Mayor Rob Palmieri, good morning. Thank you so much for coming on this morning. I know that this Complete Streets has been and it's been a while, by the way, since we've had you on. I know this Complete Streets has garnered a great deal of controversy. What are your thoughts, and what do you want to say to Mike Gentile?
Well, hello, Bill
are you
in
kidding
Utica.
Davey. It's Stefan. It's not the mayor. Good morning, Stefan. How you doing?
Good morning, Stefan.
I'm the deputy mayor.
You are.
Live from Kelberman.
Yes, we might actually be better off live from Kelberman. All right, what is your take on this? Because to be fair, Stefan probably travels.
I know Stefan well. Stefan's a great guy.
He's well traveled through the streets of Utica. So what's your take?
Actually, I have a take on Stewart's. Over the weekend, I was up in Saratoga Springs.
Yes, he's a traveling man.
There are a lot of Stewarts up in Saratoga Springs, and they seem to have no trouble with Stewarts in Saratoga. So why does Utica have trouble with Stewarts? Stewarts is a good place. They have ice cream. They have sandwiches.
Yeah.
They're a good place. Saratoga has no trouble, so why does Utica?
You want to answer? I mean, I don't understand. I mean, I just think there's a battle over everything. Again, I'm back to that. We fight over everything.
I also like Stewart's ice cream.
Yeah.
But they don't have soft serve, which is kind of
but they do have a really, really amazing chocolate milkshake. Their milkshakes are my favorite. And they get nice and soft, and because you're obviously eating them through a straw. Okay, Stephen, good question. What in the heck were you doing in Saratoga?
Well, I was up there for a volleyball event at Skidmore College.
All right.
And one of the teams that played Utica University volleyball last week.
So let me ask you, was it women's volleyball?
Yes, it was.
Okay, I was just checking. All right, you're a big fan of the women's volleyball team.
Yes, I am.
Okay, go Pioneers.
Go Pioneers, and hockey season is coming up for Utica University.
It is. They will be.
It's here.
It's here. And you know what else is going on? Nexus has its first game on Saturday. The first hockey game will play at the Nexus Center this Saturday. And there's a host of It starts after that. Every weekend, tournaments, every single weekend. You can check out their schedule at nexus.com. Okay, Stefan, thank you, man.
And we need to take
You're
that
welcome,
same Nexus
Bill.
model.
Thanks. Yes.
The same Nexus model and put it towards youth baseball right in the city of Utica.
Wouldn't that
and
be,
that would be
yeah.
exceptional.
I mean, look what's happened in Cooperstown, how
yeah,
that's been.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, great expansion that's gone on down there. Mike Gentile, thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Appreciate the time. Congratulations
Vote
on
Republican.
Your new position. Vote Republican. Voting underway today, tomorrow, Saturday and Sunday, and then Election Day, 6 a.m. till 9 p.m. coming up on Tuesday. All right, an author, former employee of radio stations here in the area. He was actually, when I worked, I actually worked under. He was the boss man, Brian Delaney. When I worked over at Clear Channel, when Clear Channel was in town.
If he comes in with an empty box, are you going to get nervous? Bill, this is for you.
No,
Load it up.
But I did go through firing with him. I did. We can talk about that, too. Brian Delaney coming in a second. Stand by. 821 at WIBX.
This year, we, the people of Oneida County, have a choice. We can bow down to the political establishment, or we can stand up on our own 2 feet. I'm Marima Smagic-Oren. The race for Oneida County Clerk is more than just another election. It's a fight to decide who runs this county, the people or the politicians. Mary Finnegan's made her choice. She's the establishment's candidate, taking orders from the establishment's bosses. The difference between Mary Finnegan and me? She's running because she'll do what Tony Picenti tells her to do. I'm running because I know what to do. I'm an attorney and a real estate professional who works with the county clerk's office day in and day out. I'm a lawyer who knows the clerk is indispensable to New York State Supreme Court. My opponent files dog licenses and hands out parking permits. I deal with deeds, mortgages, and Supreme Court judges. I'm Marima Smagic-Oren. I put people over politics. Paid for by the friends of Marima Smagic-Oren.
Hi, this is Joe Cordell with the law firm Cordell & Cordell. When the prospect of divorce becomes a reality, you need a partner that you can count on. If you're a man in this situation, consider contacting Cordell & Cordell. We've helped men navigate complex legal matters for 30 years.
Contact Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's New York attorneys. 518-554-0000. Online at CordellCordell.com. 100 Great Oaks Boulevard, Suite 110, Albany, New York, 12203.
Every day at NBT Bank, we focus our business around all the ways we can help yours. We're large enough to offer leading business and digital solutions, but local enough to ensure personalized one-on-one service. So turn to NBT Bank for a full range of business solutions, like capital and treasury management services, even fraud protection, and see how NBT Bank is just the right size to help you do big things. Visit nbtbank.com to learn more and start a conversation. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
The Assembly Chamber in the state capitol is called the People's House. For most, that's just a catchy political phrase. But for Assemblywoman Marianne Buttonshawn, it's a promise. Marianne Buttonshawn brings the people's ideas, your ideas, to Albany and turns them into law. A constituent from Rome inspired a new law reducing the theft of catalytic converters. A stricken Utica family inspired Bianca's law, prohibiting the exploitation of hurtful, graphic, violent images on the internet. Revere Copper, new antimicrobial copper, would decrease the spread of COVID-19. So Marianne introduced a bill requiring copper fixtures in all taxpayer-funded projects. Like you, Marianne Buttonshawn shows up for work. She's never missed a session roll call or committee meeting. Like you, Marianne listens. Her office answers 5,000 phone calls and emails a year. Marianne Buttonshawn brings your values and your voice to the State Assembly. That's why the friends of Marianne Buttonshawn paid for this message.
Injury crash? 2-door, 4-door, SUV, motorcycle, big truck. At William Attar, we're New York's largest motor vehicle accident firm, helping those injured in New York State. If a crash caused the death of a loved one, call William Attar, the largest motor vehicle accident firm in the state. Call William Attar, 315-444-4444, South State Street, Syracuse, 315-444-4444.
Discover the holiday preview event with 50% off everything at Banana Republic Factory for a limited time. From essential sweaters to timeless outerwear, explore the best of the season starting at $24.99. Find your nearest store or shop online. Only at Banana Republic Factory.
I'm Shanola Hampton. I support the Feeding America network of food banks because they help provide over 6 billion meals to people in need each year. Learn more at feedingamerica.org.
Adirondack Bank is the perfect choice if you're looking for a mortgage. They'll put together the perfect mortgage suited to your needs. It's Adirondack Bank. And with Eco Checking, mobile banking, and, of course, personal and home loans, Adirondack Bank has you completely covered with all of your financial needs. They've been supporting local for decades, and you'll always receive that outstanding service. And when it comes to that loan and it comes to that mortgage, they find the perfect mortgage that is suited for your needs. And there are several options to choose from. 14 locations in the area, and with their mobile banking app, Adirondack Bank is just a click, a call, or a short drive away. Visit any one of their locations today or go to AdirondackBank.com to start your ADK experience. Think about a mortgage suited perfectly to your needs from Adirondack Bank, member FDIC.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
All right, each day this week we've been focusing in on a Leading Edge Award. These are awards put together by Mohawk Valley Edge and awards that are here to assist people and community members that with groups that are doing great things for this community and advancing the community. And if you could, just give us a little rundown on saying it better than I just said it. The Leading Edge Award is...
Thank you, Bill. This is Hannah from Mohawk Valley Edge. Hi. And Leading Edge Awards are an evening to celebrate local businesses, organizations that are making an impact.
Okay. And this, I'll let you do the introduction on this award winner here today.
All right. Thank you again, Bill. So today we have Joseph Gem with LaHinch Group, which is actually an organization out of Syracuse, New York. They deal in real estate, and if you're in the Utica area, you may actually recognize some of the properties that they have worked with. So thank you for joining us today, Joseph.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me.
Joe, talk about LaHinch Group and tell us it's a real estate company. Talk about what it is that you do.
Yeah, so we're a real estate company out of Syracuse, New York, and we focus on rehabbing old historic buildings, Syracuse, Utica, Rochester, working on a project up in the Adirondack Park as well.
And there are plenty of those buildings around.
There are. Yeah. You know, Utica's got a great building stock. That's what we saw when we, first started looking in the market about 5-6 years ago. Beautiful old historic buildings and repurposing them into mixed-use apartments, retail, commercial space.
How do you see Utica differently, or do you see Utica as different from Syracuse?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's a smaller city,
yeah.
But with smaller city, I think it's you get a lot more attention. You're able to work with the city, the zoning, the permits office. Things get done a little quicker here, but I think there's a great opportunity with we were just talking. Hannah and I were talking about the Nexus Center getting wrapped up shortly, the hospital, the Inner Harbor, obviously Wolfspeed. A lot of great things going on in the Mohawk Valley.
They're also in Rome. There are a lot of those older houses and a lot of that stock that's available in the city of Rome.
I've never really gotten through Rome and explored the opportunity there. We just wrapped a couple projects in Utica. I think between all the building stock in upstate New York, there's a lot of opportunity.
And I'll ask you, why did you choose the LaHinch Group?
Sure. So we were really impressed by this idea of mixed-use space, historic preservation, but also looking ahead to the future of the Mohawk Valley. LaHinch Group has a really nice handle on what some of these properties mean to the local communities. And Joe, if you wouldn't mind, could you tell us a bit more about some of these properties in Utica that LaHinch has worked on?
Yeah, sure. So the first building we wrapped up was the former Utica Travelers building. We put in 32 apartments there. Barton and LaJudas Engineering Group moved in. They take about 8,000 square feet. And then the Utica Observer Dispatch has a small office there. So that was our first project. Beautiful building right next to Utica Coffee, which is probably the most happening place in downtown.
Yeah.
And then over to 600 State Street, the former Utica Cotton Steam Mill. Empire Bath and Kitchen was there. So we just wrapped up about a month ago there, 64 apartments and beautiful high-end apartments, and then Brooklyn Pickle out of Syracuse.
I saw a sign that as you're going over the arterial, you can see Brook and then an L. I'm assuming that's the Brooklyn Pickle.
It's Brooklyn Pickle. It's a vertical sign right on the side of the building. So.
I'm a fan of that place. It's a great New York style deli sandwich. I always stop there when I'm just slipping off 690 in Syracuse.
Yeah, Teal Ave is the original location. Craig Wadlow, who's now the owner, Kenny Sniper, started it years ago. Great guy. We're excited to have him. I think it's going to be a great addition to downtown Utica.
When does that open, by the way?
We're shooting end of Q1 23.
Okay, all right. Anything else you want to add?
I don't think so.
We want to congratulate you, Joe, and it is there's plenty of old homes and old buildings that you can take advantage of here in the Utica area.
I appreciate it, guys. Thanks for having us on.
Thank you so much. Cordelia, I want to bring you in, being from Rome. You know there's a lot of housing stock, a lot of older buildings in the city of Rome that can be taken advantage of.
Well, sure there is. And we have some in South Rome. We have some in West. All the areas of Rome have some.
Yeah.
Something that could be done with.
Can I just have you turn down your radio or your app or your TV or whatever you have there? Just turn that down, and then. So, how can we help you this morning, Cordelia? Good morning.
Well, I'm going to talk about elections. You know that.
Yep. I figured you would.
It's time, and all the campaigning is winding down. And well, I'm just talking to the public. I don't care if they're Democrat, Republican, blank, conservative, whatever you are. You know the mess we have been living with.
Yes.
And now you have the golden opportunity to get the life you want. So when you go in that voting booth, you think about the mess and what you want and think forward.
What do you need?
And that is about it that I can say to the voters right now, because we're at the deadline and campaigning, everybody's doing the last big push.
Have you done any campaigning for anyone this year?
I'm kind of going with Mary Finnegan.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I really think she's excellent, and she's worked in the field, and having been a court officer, I know you've got to have people who are working in the field.
So you think she knows the job. What about her opponent says that she's a puppet to Tony Pacini? How do you respond to that?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
No, Mary's been her own self person.
I don't think knowing Mary, I think she's no one's puppet.
No,
just for the record, she's a tough lady.
And it's a different entity between her and Tony. And
that's the other.
That
is the other part of this. If I could, Cordelia, on the with Sandy DePerno, we had Tony Pacini in talking about that, and from the day she closed the Rome DMV, Pacini was calling for it, and so was Mayor Jackie Izzo, calling for it to be reopened. It took several months. So if he has control over her, it seems to be delayed control. Would you agree?
Right, and if he had control over her and Jackie Izzo and all that, they would have opened it the next day.
Right. Okay.
It's what it is. And but I think people could read into a lot of stuff. And but then we got our judges too. We have Julie Groh. She's running, and she will be an excellent candidate. Her father's been a judge for years, and she knows the judge life.
Yeah.
And we have the other candidates that are running too, and we have Mr. Rose also. He's trying to get back and move himself up too from family court to Supreme Court, which is good.
Yeah. Okay.
And the other two gentlemen, I have met them, but I never got that familiar with them because they've been really more campaigning in their districts. And but people got to think.
Well,
we could have a back again.
If I can say, I know this. You're a huge Kathy Hochul fan. I know that you really support Kathy Hochul.
Oh yeah, sure.
Well,
I
know
don't
that's
think
not,
so.
That's not the case. No, you didn't.
No,
So-
I want a new New York. I want a fresh New York.
Okay.
I think we've had enough of the Como gang.
All right.
And
All
see
right.
where it's gotten us, and it's gotten crime. Giuliani had that all under control down there, and all of a sudden, boom, it's got really bad. So,
Cordelia, we appreciate your endorsements today. I was wondering, it just dawned on me, I wonder who Cordelia is supporting this election. So, there we go. All right.
Thank you, Cordelia.
Thank you. Have a great day. Carmine, who's on line 2?
We've got Mark Brask.
It's Mark Blask.
My bad.
You want to call him Mark Brask. Blask, he is the B-L-A-S-K. He is the mayor of Little Falls, who, by the way, I believe might be flying today, so he's a bit out of town, but was in Utica last night and presented in front of the Utica Common Council. Good morning, Mark.
Hi, Bill. Good morning. Good morning, Jeff.
So what was that about last night, your presentation to the Utica Common Council?
It's really just reaching out to see what we can do moving forward together. I mean, we have a couple of things going on in Little Falls that we need support for regionally. One, as we've talked about in the past, is we really have this full court press on as far as getting a train station there. So upstate rail, we've done a lot of work in that regard, and just how it would help regionally and how sweet it would be to get on a train in Utica and go see the Bills, or head down to New York City rather than having to go to Rensselaer. So in Little Falls, we've done a lot of work really these last 2 years with the consultants, just a lot of push-ups in that regard. And then just in the entertainment world, everything that's going on at the Stanley, Little Falls is pretty good at festivals and getting people together, from a movie shoot to, just larger festivals. So I just thought it's a disservice if you just think about your own municipality. I mean, Utica's not even in our same county, but I mean, they're doing well. There's a lot going on. So I was just thinking that it's silly to just view a line on a map. It's a region. It's the Mohawk Valley.
Yeah,
So
no doubt it is part of the region.
That was the thinking, and it was very well received. And I appreciate Mike Galimi for the invitation.
Tell me, Mark, when did the train station close in Little Falls? Because I believe years ago there was a train station.
There was, yeah, absolutely. So probably 45 or 50 years ago.
Wow.
Holy cow.
So we're really making a move to get it back. We're working with Amtrak, with CSX, but a lot of that is building a coalition in the region with Glimmerglass, with others who are on that corridor who would benefit from passenger rail. I mean, it's coming, right? Like, we're going to be riding trains.
Right.
It's cleaner, it's faster, it's safer. It's just, why should it happen in 10 years?
Right.
I mean, let's advance that timeline. So we're doing that.
Listen, that would be you may very well see people pick up the train as opposed to picking up the train in Utica. People in the valley would possibly pick up the train in Little Falls. Many of the people in the valley already travel to Rensselaer, right, to pick up the train.
That's exactly what we do. We drive 75 miles.
Yep.
Or, if you're going down to see a Yankee game, you drive to Poughkeepsie and you get on Metro North. And that's the first stop there. It's 150 miles. But even though there is a train station in Utica, obviously, we really need to build up ridership. It's just, I just think that there's this benefit. We have the tracks. There's so many from Buffalo to Albany who would benefit from this.
Okay.
I mean, if you go overseas, if you go to California, everybody does this. It's not particularly hard.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I think it's a great point.
That was it.
Mayor, I'm sure you've already thought of this, but just something that popped into my head because we've been discussing this on the program, an element of this. But I think you could get some state assistance if you went to the governor and said, "Hey, we want some funding for the rail line, and it's going to be an all solar power paneled train or something like that." If it was in the green vein, I think New York State might want to help.
Would that potentially be the slowest train ever, though, Jeff? Would it be, just like crawling across the country?
Well, no, I think it would be very, very fast. I mean, these electric vehicles are very, very fast. However, how far could you go before you needed to, or
right?
is it,
So we're stopping we're stopping in Oneida on the way to Buffalo for the Bills game.
Right.
I do appreciate that idea, though. I mean, all thinking is welcome. I am in Chicago too. I'm on my way down to the Breeders' Cup to watch some horse racing this weekend, which is going to be fun.
That's going to be
cool.
awesome. Enjoy that, and thank you so much, Mayor Blask. We'll do it again. Safe travels.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
So Mayor Blask says, "Listen, there's no bad ideas, but Manaski, that idea you came up with, it's a bad
stupid.
idea."
Yeah, he did call it stupid.
Andrew chiming in this morning, our Andrew, he says, "Perfect example of awesome train travel is Brightline." He says, from Fort Lauderdale to Miami to West Palm. I believe Andrew was recently down there. Apparently he was on the train.
Pretty cool. And, when you go to Europe, the trains are fast. They have the high-speed rail. We're way behind in that area. Got a break. 8:41. Coming up in studio, Brian Delaney, a former radio person here in the area, mostly on the advertising side, but he is now an author. He's written a new book. We'll speak with him on that book and tell you how you can get it. Coming right up at WIBX.
Somebody should tell Kathy Hochul Halloween is over. She's still trying to scare you about Lee Zeldin. The guy's a suburban dad with a wife and 2 teen girls. Enough already. Okay, you might not be thrilled about voting for a Republican. Me neither, and I won't make it a habit, but things have got to change. Under Hochul, you know what's happening with crime. Cashless bail? Come on. It's not just crime. It's the cost of living. Just paying bills. Hochul delivers the most expensive state budget in history, then acts like she's doing you a favor by spending it? Besides, with all these people moving out of state, who's gonna get the bill? You. Hochul's already backed higher taxes 11 times. Lee Zeldin is the best hope we have to change things. The way I see it, you can vote for Hope, or you can vote for Hochul.
Paid for by Safe Together New York, Inc. This communication was not expressly authorized or requested by any candidate or by any candidate's political committees or any of its agents.
We all like convenience, right? ATMs, takeout food, drive-through pharmacies. Now, Bremer's is making it just as convenient to enjoy your favorite wines and spirits with Bremer's to go. It's simple. Place your order at bremerswineandliquor.com or save $5 on your first order with our mobile app. Order before 5 p.m. for pickup the same day. Hey, you could even call us when you get to the store and we'll bring your order right out and load it in the car for you. Now that's convenience. Maybe you're planning a party. Maybe you want to stock up on your favorite wines. Or you just want to save time when you're out and about. Whatever the reason, at Bremer's, we're all about incredible customer service. So when you're on the go, we are too. Order at bremerswineandliquor.com or save $5 with our mobile app. Order before 5 p.m. for pickup the same day. It's Bremer's to go, available 7 days a week from Bremer's Wine and Liquor on Commercial Drive in New Hartford.
Long before the sun rises and the highways are busy with traffic, before the kids are on the buses and first shift workers begin their day, Sheriff Rob Mashel is hard at work making sure our community is a safe place for all of us to live. It's what keeps him up at night and gets him up early every day. It's his passion. It's his purpose. It's his job.
I'm Oneida County Sheriff Rob Mashel. The men and women of the Oneida County Sheriff's Office are making a positive difference. Children are safer in schools because a trained officer is on duty at almost every school. Our deputies stand with area police departments to combat increased crime. If we continue working together, we'll keep Oneida County safe. I'm Oneida County Sheriff Rob Mashel. Law enforcement is my family. Your safety and their safety matter to me.
This November, re-elect Rob Mashel, your Oneida County Sheriff. Paid for by friends of Rob Mashel.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
This year, we, the people of Oneida County, have a choice. We can bow down to the political establishment, or we can stand up on our own 2 feet. I'm Marima Smagic-Oren. The race for Oneida County Clerk is more than just another election. It's a fight to decide who runs this county, the people or the politicians. Mary Finnegan's made her choice. She's the establishment's candidate, taking orders from the establishment's bosses. The difference between Mary Finnegan and me? She's running because she'll do what Tony Picenti tells her to do. I'm running because I know what to do. I'm an attorney and a real estate professional who works with the county clerk's office day in and day out. I'm a lawyer who knows the clerk is indispensable to New York State Supreme Court. My opponent files dog licenses and hands out parking permits. I deal with deeds, mortgages, and Supreme Court judges. I'm Marima Smagic-Oren. I put people over politics. Paid for by the Friends of Marima Smagic-Oren.
Hey, do it all this holiday season. Book your home improvement project with New York Sash, and you can get a free vacation. Schedule a price quote for a qualifying home improvement project with New York Sash, and they'll gift you with a cruise or luxury vacation voucher to take the trip of your dreams. Cruise for 3 to 7 days on top liners. That's top cruise liners and locations. Or you can stay at a place of your choice, 4,500 luxury resorts worldwide. There's no blackout dates. You get 24 months to book, and it's fully transferable. That means it makes the perfect gift for you. You don't have to choose, improve your home, and get the vacation of your dreams from New York Sash. Find out more about when this begins, how you can sign up at no cost, no obligation price quote. Go to NewYorkSash.com/vacation. Or you can stop into the showroom today and ask for details at New York Sash.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
All right, in studio here this morning is Brian Delaney. Brian has worked in the area for several years. My last time working with Brian, although I think you've worked everywhere. Have you worked here? You said you worked at every one of the frequencies here.
Every one of the frequencies you have here, I worked for, which is, I'm aging myself now.
At some point.
And so I started in 1981 with WIBX.
Oh, you did, in 1981.
I used to sell the FM was beautiful music.
Yes. Which is now Light 98.7.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I worked for 98.7. I worked for 96.1, which one was the Frog.
Yeah.
104 when it was KG. So,
KG 104.
Yeah, so I worked for every single. I just noticed that coming in. I work for every single one of these signals.
Yeah. Wow, and then 96 being the Frog guy didn't even.
That was back
oh
in the
yeah,
90s.
the Frog started out on the what is now the Eagle, on that frequency, right?
Muck Road in Rome.
Yeah. Wow. Which was not affiliated with WIBX at that time.
No, absolutely not.
And didn't we try to do a thing where when I was over at Galaxy, so I would have been on Rock 107.
Right.
We did this thing with the Frog. It was called
local marketing agreement.
A local marketing
LMA.
agreement.
Yep.
An LMA. So the Frog and so two different companies merged basically together. Their sales teams merged together, and we were selling.
It was before the consolidation.
Yeah.
So it was in the early 90s, and they called it a local marketing arrangement where somebody took over the sales organization, but they didn't take over the license. And that was pretty challenging.
And a lot of times what you would do, too, if you were buying a station, you'd do an LMA while you waited for the FCC to approve.
Absolutely, yeah.
But then the Frog became a part of WIBX, so it was Regent at the time. I don't know.
Regent, yeah.
And now OUR.
And we have OUR here.
I left the market in 2008, and then when they sold the stations, and I ran the cluster for what was then Clear Channel, and it was KISS and OUR and Magic and.
So can I tell you one story? So Brian ran. So I bought the time. I was like, screw this. I don't want to work for anybody. I'm going to go and buy the time on it was KISS FM.
Right,
at the
and
time.
sell the advertising.
So then let's just say someone who didn't like me bought KISS FM, and part of the prerequisite was that I get fired.
Well, the funny thing about it is he didn't like me either.
I know.
And I didn't get a job, so I moved.
Completely true, though, right?
It is. It's completely
okay.
true.
So Brian said, I said, tomorrow's going to be my last day. I said, I've already cut a new deal. I'm going on another radio station. So tomorrow morning, I'm going to go on, and every 10 minutes, I'm going to say, tomorrow, you can hear me on this station. And we got to do that till about 8 o'clock before I got shut off.
Yeah.
So I went all morning long plugging the new job.
I hated that. I found out when somebody called me, and it was in 2006. They said, "Are you selling the station?"
Yeah.
No, we could do a whole show on
We
this.
could.
But it was really interesting that we both had the same experience.
We did. We both lost our jobs.
I was the last one out the door.
Yeah. I was out a little earlier than you. Yeah.
But it was the same day. Then I said, now what do I do?
Now what do you do, right? What do you do? And you've done well for yourself, though. You are now retired from radio.
I retired in 2017. I used to work in Atlanta for...
That's an awesome town, isn't it?
It really is. I live north of there in a small village that's sort of like Clinton. It's only a little bit bigger. But in the morning, I write and do editing, and I do marketing, because it's a business.
Right.
So, I've always written commercials. Even from the time from the time I started at IBX, I learned that if you write somebody's commercial for them, you know their business,
Right.
and you're creative, like the Dick Orkin method.
Right.
Character-driven, conflict-oriented. Well, that's actually gave me the impetus to say, well, if I'm pretty good at writing commercials, maybe I can write a novel. And I always wanted to, but you know how life
You
gets
didn't have
in
the
way.
time, right?
Yeah, you come home from work, you're exhausted.
Then you got 9 commercials you got to write for 9 new businesses that you're adding to the station, and you have to do that because without writing that, the money doesn't come in.
It doesn't, and and I wrote right up until 2017.
Yeah. All right, talk about the book. It's called A Good Morning.
Spelled M-O-U-R-N-I-N-G.
Which, by the way, I'm writing a book, and mine is called A Bad Morning. It's about all the different times that I've lost my job, but my morning is spelled different than yours.
Yeah. It's a murder mystery. It's a whodunit. And there's a little bit of intrigue. There's a killer out there. And the protagonists, they were actually started with 2 brothers, both diametrically opposed. One is risk averse. Doesn't want. He's an accountant. He's very quiet, shy. And the other one is just boisterous. And you wonder yourself, how did they get there?
Yeah.
So the story goes through there, but it's also a murder mystery. And Axel, the risk averse one, and his friend Jules from the memory care center. It's called FALM. It's an assisted living.
Okay.
Someone's killing the elderly. And
The
she
residents,
suspects it, but nobody believes it. So she employs Axel, and they go and try to find the killer before the killer gets to Axel's grandmother, Winnie, who's now a resident.
And by the way, when I say a different spelling of morning, it's M-O-U-R-N-I-N-G.
And you know what that's all about?
Right.
Axel, even though he doesn't like to be out in public and he doesn't like to talk, he does eulogies.
Okay.
And so he says, the deceased deserve a last word, and he gives it to them.
Interesting.
See, I thought you just wanted to work O-U-R into a book title. I thought that's what it was. But no, it's actually tied to the book. That's
O-U-R, morning. Interesting. So where did you get the concept for the book?
Okay, well, it started a long time ago. I used to have a typewriter sit on my table, never touched it, But I came up with this concept about the 2 brothers because I wanted to explore how they did it.
Yeah.
And in 1999, my grandmother died. And I went and I talked to my mother and my aunts, and I said, let me do her eulogy, because not only was she my grandmother, she was my godmother.
Right.
So I gave her eulogy, and everybody seemed to enjoy it. So what I did was I said, well, what would happen if this guy did the eulogy too? And I came up with the line, the deceased deserve a last word.
I like that.
And there's the theme throughout the whole story. And it's really interesting on how you can take the characters and you're thinking they're going this way, and then all of a sudden they go someplace else.
Right.
And I like to make the characters kind of quirky.
That whole twist and turn with a novel, so it makes these novels great. So
and then at the end there's a twist, or there's you go, oh,
right,
because with murder mysteries,
right, you gotta have that. It's called and this is Brian Delaney, who is in studio. Good Morning, M-O-U-R-N-I-N-G. And I'm assuming this book can be purchased anywhere that
Amazon, or you can go to my website. That's your copy.
Okay, thank you very much.
To you. And there's some bookmarks in there also, and that has
I did see that.
It has my web address.
Okay,
and
cool.
My second book's coming out in December. It's called Chasing Pirates.
Chasing Pirates. Talk about that.
Well, you've been in radio all your life, right?
I
But there
have.
are some people who are in an industry that maybe they don't want to be there anymore. And this guy Chase Porter, is a college professor, but he doesn't like being stuck in because he lives in Key West.
Okay.
So he loves to teach. He just doesn't want to be stuck inside. So he, along with a couple other characters, buy an old 18th century frigate, and they take people out on tours. If you've ever been to Key West, they have a lot of tour companies.
Yeah, love Key West.
Well, he takes them out and teaches them the pirate life. And there are tour operators, especially one that's a bad guy, and they're trying everything they can do to stop him. So there's a lot of intrigue. It's a thriller. There's a couple of crazy people. There's treasure hunting, and that's all I can say about that.
Okay.
But it's a lot of fun, and that comes out in December.
Well, you've taken the author. This is your new career. This is what you.
And I got a third one I wrote also, but I'm editing that right now, and that's a fake memoir.
That's interesting.
You mentioned your and I was kidding about writing my book.
You should.
But it is a goal just based on everything that I've been through. A lot of unique things in this radio business. Radio is very interesting.
Yeah.
And a lot of crazy things happen in this business. So I do think there's somewhere a book, but it's like everything else. It's hard when you're writing other things and you're doing other things to take the time and to do it. But now in retirement, you're able to do that. When you said you have the typewriter, you always have the typewriter sitting there. Do you use the typewriter?
No, I use a laptop.
Yeah.
But
because there are some authors who will refuse to use a computer. They can only get the creative juices going if they use their typewriter.
They still write. John Irving still writes in longhand and gives it to somebody to type. Not me.
That's wild.
I have to go through it because it's like a puzzle.
Yeah.
Right. And people say, "Well, do you outline? Are you a pants seater? I do both. I get an idea and I start writing what could happen, and I'm going, "Oh, that's nice." I'm in Chicago, and I'm going back to the airport after a convention. This is before I really got into writing it. But I'm thinking about this book that is out there, and I think of wordplay on the two brothers and the grandmother, and I start cackling in the back of the cab. And the cab driver looks at me like I'm crazy. I said, no, I just had a really funny idea.
Yeah.
But,
if you don't write that down, if you don't log that.
I left my phone in the car, but that's what I do. I have notes, and I write all sorts of notes, and later on I go, what the heck did I mean by that?
Right, I know. I have the same thing.
Yeah, I was going to say.
But no, I write, and then it's like a puzzle. I'll put an outline together with the title of the chapter with the word count. I try to keep everything under maybe 3,000 words.
Yep. Okay.
Because people's attention spans aren't what they used to be.
Right. You're right.
And you read Ken Follett, and he's got 1,000 words.
Yeah.
This book is like 270 some odd pages.
Is there going to at some point be an audio version of the book?
Funny you should say that. The problem with audio right now is twofold. Number one, if you go to an audio book company, it costs you a lot of money.
Yeah.
And it's a business, and I'm thinking that, I've had two people asking me about it. You're the third in a year.
Some people like to travel. I like that.
And
I throw it in.
But I want to build my catalog first.
Yeah, that's really good.
Once I build my catalog, then I'll do all of them in the audiobook.
Nice.
So that way I can come back and market and say, now an audiobook.
So long to retirement. You're now an author, and this is just a new phase in your life.
It is. It really is, and it's a
really
lot
cool.
of fun, and I really appreciate you having me come on.
Great. The last time Brian and I really spoke was my final day working over on KISS.
It was 14 years ago. Actually, it was 14 years ago in October.
14 years ago and a lot of hair in October.
Right.
Yeah, at least for me.
Now I'm like, I got a yarmulke.
Yeah, you do what you do, right? Brian, great seeing you. Congratulations on this.
Thank you for having me.
The book is A Good Morning, Mourning, by Brian Delaney. You can search Amazon or wherever.
Right. And BrianDelaneyAuthor.com.
BrianDelaneyAuthor.com is the website. All right, good stuff.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Good seeing you.
All right.
We're done. Back here tomorrow morning. A comedian from Fat Cats Comedy Club will be in studio here tomorrow. He's known as he is the tallest stand-up comic in America, and he'll be in studio tomorrow morning. Pretty excited about that. He'll fit right in, don't you think? It's tomorrow morning on WIBX News. Straight ahead.
William Attar for the win. Insurance companies make more money by paying you less. You've been seriously injured in a car crash, so why should you settle for less money than you deserve? At William Attar, we've handled thousands of serious injury claims. There are short time deadlines, so call now. Hurt in a car? Call William Attar. 315-444-4444. Main Street, Williamsville, South State Street, Syracuse.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX 950 Utica, Rome, W295DI Utica, Rome, your news, talk, and sports leader, a Town Square media station.
Biden blames Trump. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News. President Biden says former President Trump's lies about election fraud have caused doubts about democracy.
There's been anger before in America. There's been division before in America. But we've never given up on the American experiment. We can't do that now.
He's out campaigning today.
With the New Mexico governor's race going down to the wire, President Joe Biden will be rallying supporters in Albuquerque, the state's largest city. Current governor, Democrat Michelle Lujan Grisham, is in a tight race with meteorologist Mark Ronchetti, while in the southern part of the state, Democrat Gabe Vasquez is trying to flip a seat held by Republican Yvette Harrell. President Biden is then expected to travel to California to participate in an event for Democratic Congressman Mike Levin in San Diego, who's in a close race with Republican Brian Marriott. It's one of several congressional races in the Golden State the nation is watching on Election Day, as Fox News has several races rated as a toss-up. In Washington, Ryan Schmelz, Fox News.
Former President Trump campaigns in Iowa for Republicans today. The North Korean military conducts more missile tests.
Air raid sirens sounded across Japan's Miyagi and Yamagata prefectures. Residents were told to take cover. In the end, the missile is believed to have failed mid-flight before landing in the
U.S. No one has wanted, which means there have been 39 consecutive drawings where no one has matched all six numbers.
Fox's Tanya J. Powers. There were three $2 million winners last night and $12 million winners. New unemployment claims down slightly at 217,000, says the Labor Department. The number of people still on unemployment continuing claims is up slightly. America's listening to Fox News.
Hi, I'm Lisa Booth for Bishop Gold Group. Federal Reserve recent announcements is putting the country on course for a deep recession. That means wild swings in the markets and high inflation will continue to put your retirement savings at risk. Protect the money you worked so hard to save for retirement by investing in gold. Let Bishop Gold Group show you how tangible gold investments can help secure your future. Dial pound 250 from a mobile phone and say the keyword Bishop Gold or visit bishopgoldgroup.com.
And now a small business setback is assessed by a beloved family pediatrician.
Oh, hey, Tiger. Big scary tree branch give your work truck a boo-boo? Yeah. Wow. See this thing on my phone here? It's the Progressive mobile app. Just push that little button there and report your claim. Attaboy.
When owning a small business gets painful, Progressive Commercial is here to make it all better. Get a quote in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com.
What's this? Candy drawer? Who wants a lollipop?
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Covered subject to policy terms and conditions. Photo claims not available in all states or situations.
Two very different people are running to become the next Oneida County clerk. One has made wild, false claims in her commercials, picked fights with the county executive, the county legislature, and others. She denigrates anyone who disagrees and clearly believes that her law degree has given her superpowers and the know-how to do everybody else's job. On the other side, there's Mary Finnegan, a level-headed, common-sense leader who served as clerk in the town of Whitestown for the last 17 years. She wrote and won a grant that modernized the office, made customer service a priority, and now wants to do the same for Oneida County. And she'll work to improve the experience at all DMV locations. All this while protecting the public's private information. The fact is, there's no one better suited for this job. This election, please vote for experience. Vote Mary Finnegan, Oneida County Clerk, paid for by Friends of Mary Finnegan.
Would you vote for Biden, Pelosi, Kathy Hochul? Of course not. Then why would you ever support Matt Castelli, a downstate Democrat? Never voted here before. Castelli supports Biden's latest spending